You are now riding with Big Ghostwriter, man. You know what I'm saying? You riding with the real now, man. You riding with the truth now, man. You know what I'm saying? You are in good hands, guys. Welcome to Riding with Ghostwriter. You know what I'm saying? If you're watching this after it was pre-recorded, this is like episode number 6. Just finished the We the People tour, still out here in New York. You know what I'm saying? So, decided to do the Riding with Ghostwriter series. Basically the same thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm just in the vehicle. It don't matter where you at. You know, I'm authentic. I just told you guys I'm real, so I don't believe in no AI or no green screens or anything like that. You know, I believe in just straight content, man, just delivering straight content however you are, bro. I don't even like miking up, really. You know what I'm saying? Just straight content. I want it raw and authentic, you know? That being said, man, this morning we got some great conversation to discuss this morning. We got a great news topic to go over. We're going to be talking about Venezuela. You know, America has the largest military buildup in Venezuela since like the 60s, maybe even before that, right outside the coast of Venezuela. Not the largest military buildup in Venezuela, the largest military buildup, I'll say, in South America, the Caribbean Sea. About 15,000 U.S. troops. You know what I'm saying? That is a lot of firepower. You know, the largest aircraft carrier in the world. It's an aircraft carrier group. So it's not just one big ship. You know what I'm saying? It's the whole group, you know? And it's right off the coast of Venezuela. Man, I remember, I was thinking just a while ago, man, I remember when the first Gulf War, some of you guys have been too young, wasn't even born. I think I was like 11 years old, 10 or 11. And I remember when someone told me that we were going to war. You know what I'm saying? Can you imagine a 10, 11-year-old and you're hearing that we're going to war? I'm like, what? Going to war? So, yeah, you know, I heard we were going to war and I'm asking all my family members, I'm like, what's war like? You know what I'm saying? When you say we're going to war, do you mean they're going to come over here? You know, I was concerned if I was going to be in danger personally or if my family was going to be in danger personally. That being said, man, like, you know, the situation we in, not to make light of it, you know, I'm not 10 or 11 years old, but the situation we in with Venezuela, it's not a situation where any Americans, I believe, would be in imminent danger. You know, it's a war that more like a military conflict. I wouldn't directly call it a war. I would call it a military conflict. And I mean, that's pretty much what we're looking at with Venezuela. You know what I'm saying? President Trump is saying that the Venezuelans have been selling drugs to the Americans and they've done other things in the Venezuelan president. He's illegitimately elected president, you know, so we're going to talk about some things this morning. You know, there's a bunch of different views on Venezuela. There's a lot of different views. So I want to say good morning, top of the morning, man. You guys are riding with Ghostwriter. I've been rambling. It's enough rambling. We're going to go ahead and jump into the content. If you guys are new to Legal Wars Live, I ask that y'all double tap the screen for me, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you guys hit that notification bell, guys. President Trump should free the Venezuelan people. That's where we're going to start at. Because I think that's what it's about. Me saying President Trump should free the Venezuelan people, in my opinion, it gives you the right perspective on the situation. We're going to go ahead and get into the content. Guys, I've been given the talking points on why President Trump should do everything he can in Venezuela, but put U.S. boots on the ground. Everything else in Venezuela, in my opinion, is not only fair or on the table, I should say, it should be called for. Everything else besides putting American boots on the ground. There are many on the left and the right who oppose this action. Believe that. And I will give you just legal justifications for military strikes in Venezuela. That's what you're going to get this morning. I hear the argument that the drugs aren't coming from Venezuela. And if you want to take that stance, you can. But like I said, today I'll try to switch the talking points a little to give you a different perspective. And we will just go by the facts and let the people decide if they agree with President Trump's decision to strike Venezuelan targets. Right before I do, I was watching Adam Mockler, and it seems that Dana Bash reported that President Trump either did or is about to pardon Juan Orlando Hernandez, guys. And if you guys do not know Juan Orlando Hernandez, he's the former president of Honduras who, quote unquote, trafficked 400 tons of drugs into the United States, even bragging about shoving the drugs, which was cocaine, up the Yankees' noses. So let me stop so you guys can understand. There's a president of Honduras, and the guy's name is Juan Orlando Hernandez, and he trafficked. According to sources, he was arrested for trafficking 400 tons of drugs or cocaine into the United States. And he bragged about shoving up the cocaine up people's nose. He's in jail right now, or he was. And so what I'm hearing is Dana Bash is having an argument. She's saying, hey, President Trump cares so much about the Venezuelan president selling drugs. Why is he trying to pardon Juan Orlando Hernandez, who trafficked 400 tons of drugs to the United States? But he cares so much about presidents who traffic drugs, okay? Now, if this is true, that President Trump is about to pardon Juan Orlando Hernandez, or already has, and he was pushing dope into the United States over 400 tons and was bragging about it, if this is true now, it's very surprising and very disappointing. And I just don't understand President Trump pardoning him unless the United States may be receiving some sort of concessions that we don't know, or if he's providing information or something, or maybe he's not, and that's terrible, but you're still not beating me in my argument. Because regardless of whatever you say, Juan Orlando Hernandez is in jail for what he did wrong. And Venezuela's leader, Maduro, has never been charged. He hadn't even went to jail to be able to be pardoned. President Trump pardoning Hernandez has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that Maduro, who is Venezuela's president, has never faced justice. That's for starters. For number one, he's never faced justice for what he's done. And to clean up my argument, Hernandez, the leader from Honduras, they're saying President Trump's about to pardon. Him getting pardoned won't make him president of Honduras again. And Maduro is still in power in Venezuela. That's what y'all don't understand. So the argument is President Trump cares so much about presidents in South America who's selling drugs, and this war on drugs now. He's trying to bring back Nancy Reagan's war on drugs. That's why I hear a lot of people saying. So he going after the Venezuela president, but hold up, President Trump, you a hypocrite. Because you talking about pardoning Juan Orlando Hernandez, and he sold 400. He was convicted of selling 400 tons of cocaine into the United States, even bragging about it. What you pardoning him for? If you care so much about drug dealing presidents. But my argument is, even if everything you saying, Adam Mockler, is true, which I did a little research, and we're going to talk about it in a second. President Trump is disputing what y'all saying. But even if what y'all saying is true, and President Trump is about to pardon a Central or South American president who was convicted of selling drugs. My point is that even if he pardons that president, and you right, Maduro has never been charged to be able to be pardoned. You feel that? At least the Hernandez dude from Honduras, at least he was in jail, so he faced some kind of justice. If President Trump wanted to step in there and say, hey, well, we're going to decide to let you out of jail early. We're going to give you a get out of free jail. You like, what? What? But at least he faced justice. What I'm saying is Maduro has never faced no justice. As a matter of fact, he's still president. When you pardon the Hernandez dude, he's not going to go back and be president again. He's just on the streets. He's just free. I'm saying Maduro has to come down from that spot. And I mean, put him in jail for 2 years and then pardon him, whatever. But I'm saying from that spot, you still not, your argument, you're not winning the argument by saying President Trump don't care about drugs. That's not fixing Maduro's problem, is what I'm saying. Maduro is still in power in Venezuela. And to put a cherry on the top of everything, my argument to justify America's actions is that he's not even the duly elected president. He lost the election 2-1. Yes, that's facts. That's international election observers will prove that Maduro lost that election 2-1. So that means two things are true at the same time. He's an unconvicted drug lord and an illegitimately elected president. In the end, Adam Mockler, that's a good argument, my young brother. But I have the same conclusion. Maduro has to go. I ask that you guys will like the video, double tap the screen for me. If you guys have not, if you're on a cell phone, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you guys hit that notification bell. Also, guys, everyone is welcome in this stream. I just ask that you guys will be respectful to others. I welcome you guys, Republicans, Independents, and Democrats. Jump down in the comment section and let your voices be heard. Now let's start the conversation. One last thing, we do have to pay the bills. I don't have any sponsors yet. I'm not taking no money from no party, no one else, just you guys. So super chats, super thanks, super stickers, they start at 99 cents. If you want to donate to the channel, start a conversation, or have your comment, hit that button with the $sign in it, and your donations are much and truly appreciated. Y'all, we have a source for our news today, okay? It's factually.com, and it was published on November 24th, not too long ago. I am laying out an argument against all other arguments on why this, what President Trump and what America is preparing to do with Venezuela, is not Iraq situation. This is not an Afghanistan situation. This is not anything America has done in the past. This is completely different. I know we talk about foreign intervention and we talk about regime building and all of this, but none of this is what America has done in the past. Wake up, guys. Let's focus on today. This is Venezuela. Talk to me about how many times America has went into Venezuela and attempted to rebuild a regime or has tried to attack Venezuela. Don't talk to me about something that America did in Iraq 20, 30, 40 years ago. Because this is a different situation. So let's talk about this situation. And I'm going to give you the facts on Venezuela, okay? We're not talking about Honduras. We're not talking about Hernandez. We're not talking about President Trump pardoning the whole world. If he pardoned somebody, those people have been convicted. I'm saying Maduro, an illegitimately elected president, and the whole world agrees with that, has not been convicted yet. So let's talk about if he deserves to be convicted, okay? The U.S. law enforcement agencies have publicly accused Nicolas Maduro of long-running involvement with large-scale cocaine trafficking, and narco terrorism include indictments and a U.S. reward offered now up to $50 million, according to the Department of Justice and State. They got $50 million on his head. Hey, how many former military Navy SEAL people I have in the stream? Y'all raise y'all hand. Who want to go get that 50 million? All I need is 7 to 8 of y'all. They paying that $50 million for real. The Department of Justice, President Trump, y'all gonna pay that 50 million. Y'all call Ghostwriter, we'll go get them. Yeah. Hey, y'all, thanks for the gift. Thanks for the donation, guys. If y'all want to donate to the channel, y'all can just hit the button with the $sign in it. I appreciate y'all, but I'm dead serious, guys. Independent analysis and some news outlets said the label Cartel de la Source is a loose shorthand. It's a loose shorthand. Don't take it in general. Like, you know, you got people out there, they want you to be T's, cross eyes, and okay, it's a loose shorthand for a network of corrupt officials. This ain't no cartel, no drug gang, or not. These are officials, government officials, rather than a single centrally commanded cartel. And the United States has not publicly released all underlying evidence tying Maduro personally to operational trafficking in every claim. See, now I understand, or you have to understand, that the government is not supposed to tell you everything they have, right? But to separate this situation when you're trying to justify American military force with the Iraq and the weapons of mass destruction situation, you're still going to want some sort of solid evidence that this guy is involved in drug dealing. You know what I'm saying? If the CIA, the FBI, or the DEA, they just saying, hey, y'all, we got intelligence, he's selling drugs, but the American people don't know, you got to justify to us, even though you can't tell us everything, why are you spending these millions of dollars with this American hardware to attack this? You see what I'm saying? We want to see that as the American people. So that's one thing I want to say. The U.S. won't publish all of the evidence that they have, but we need to see something this morning. That's number one. And number two, I just want to reiterate that it's a group of corrupt officials rather than a single commanded cartel. Now, some people would try to say like the Venezuelan president is supposed to be a head of a cartel, like the Sinaloa cartel or whatever cartel you could think of. This isn't what President Trump's saying. And when we start going over the evidence, you're going to see it. This guy isn't the head of a cartel like he has a cartel of drug dealers that he's in charge of. It's a network, a group of people. And that's important because him as a head of state in Venezuela, that means he has his hands in a bunch of different cartels and their activities. You get that? His business is drugs. He's the president of Venezuela whose business is drugs. And he has a network of different officials, probably most of them in government, who oversees the allowing of the drugs to be moved around. You got to understand that President Trump never said he was the head of a cartel, okay? So number one, the U.S. indictments and informal accusations, charging documents and bounty offers. The United States Department of Justice and allied agencies unsealed indictments charging Maduro together with current and former Venezuelan officials for narco terrorism, corruption, and drug trafficking, alleging he negotiated multi-ton cocaine shipments with FARC leaders. That's direct charges. That's not no weapons of mass destruction. They're telling you something he's doing directly. He negotiated multi-ton cocaine shipments. He's negotiating the cocaine. He a big dog with FARC leaders. He directed the cartel of the Suns Now, that is a cartel, okay, to supply weapons to FARC. And he coordinated international drug routes. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. What he's got going on, he's not just involved in one cartel. You know what I'm saying? He opened up Venezuela, the whole country, with all the people, all the citizens of Venezuela. He got his nation opened up as a drug haven, a drug route. Sell drugs here. We gonna go shove the drugs up the Yankees' noses. You see what I'm saying? He not just a head of no cartel. He connected with all the cartels. You know how Texas gonna say, hey, you could come to Texas, you could come to Austin, and you know we gonna give you a tax break, and we trying to bring tech companies to Austin because we want to build up ours. We gonna make a Silicon Valley. Well, he's saying, come on out to Venezuela, man. It's a drug haven. It's a drug playground. Meanwhile, he's an illegitimately elected president, and his people are starving. So I'm trying to figure out the reason why y'all protecting him. Bringing up some guy, President Trump, talking about pardoning that's selling dope too. That's not a reason that don't have nothing to do with Maduro, and that has nothing to do with those aircraft carriers being off the coast of Venezuela today. Let's talk about that. Let's stick on what we talking about. I ain't trying to find no way out of letting the dealer get off the hook. He need to get dealt with. If he the president, he's the leader of the country. That's different if President Trump's using those military sources and American dollars to justify going after a regular cartel. You could get the DEA to do stuff like that. But I'm saying he is the leader of a government. And he's illegitimately elected, man. Listen, you got to come with some hard down stuff because they coming with stuff. He negotiating cocaine shipments and supplying weapons to FARC. Negotiating and coordinating drug routes, international drug routes. Claims prominently described in DOJ and related ICE and SHI releases. And this is information that a democratically elected White House, President Biden's White House, he reviewed all this stuff before President Trump came back into office. And he upped the bounty on Maduro. So the Democrats agree with this too. President Biden and them agree. So this is bipartisan, guys, okay? Separately to what I just told you, which is kind of still accusations because they ain't came with the charges. The U.S. State Department has escalated its posture, increasing reward offers from 15 million to 25 million in January 2025, later cited at 50 million for information leading to Maduro's arrest or conviction under narcotics statutes. Okay, so they're trying to arrest him under the law. I think this is a different situation with the mass destruction, weapons of mass destruction, and Saddam Hussein. They weren't trying to arrest Saddam Hussein. They're saying Maduro has committed crimes against America, the United States. Number two, specifically, factual allegations cited by U.S. agencies. U.S. documents and press releases assert discrete acts, negotiate multi-ton shipments of FARC-produced cocaine, directing Venezuelan military networks to arm FARC. Okay? He is the president of this nation, and he's directing the whole military. The cartel can't do this. A regular cartel leader can't do this. This is what's justifying using the U.S. military against these guys. Okay? And provide political and military protection that enable trafficking. He's providing political, he's using the nation of Venezuela and their resources to condone, to harbor, to allow, to be complicit in this drug trafficking. ICE and HSI statements say investigations by domestic and international task forces, this ain't just America, informed charges and alleged the scope and magnitude of trafficking required corruption at the highest level. Guys, I'm almost 10,000% sure, and this is just how Ghost gets down, that the United Kingdom, just looking at this from factually.com, them saying that using the word international task forces, that lets me know that it's more than just the Americans who are investigating this guy. And because the United Kingdom, the nation of England, they said, hey, we're going to stop intelligence sharing with America after, a situation happened with America striking those boats. That's let me know that the United Kingdom probably had information on this guy as well. Venezuela and Maduro and that illegal drug trafficking. Other nations besides America know that Maduro is illegally selling drugs and moving drugs. I guarantee you that 1,000%. President Trump is too sure of it. He's too positive of it. While you guys attack him and try to defeat him in arguments, saying that military buildup and American intervention in Venezuela is uncalled for, just understand he knows more than you about this situation. How many boats you got out there near Venezuela and South America? How many boats you got out there? How much intelligence you got out there? How many people telling you what's going on? How many boots you got on the ground? He does. He got the entire United States. He got more than America. He got other nations out there. And they see what's going on. So before you get to arguing too hard, you always got to remember that. Number 3, reward and designation actions as policy signals, not proof alone. The State Department's reward and Treasury state designations, including specifically designated global terrorist labeling of associated networks, are powerful tools that signal intelligence and prosecutorial judgments. They do not by themselves substitute for a public trial record. The State Department and DOJ have publicly summarized allegations while rewarding informants and seeking prosecutions. The BBC notes the U.S. has not published all underlying evidence of Maduro's direct involvement for public scrutiny. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We want to know, President Trump, we want to have all of the evidence that you can release publicly on Maduro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they talk about the Epstein files. The people just want to see they just want to see stuff. They want to see evidence. They want to see what you guys are seeing. You can have people go look at the Epstein files and say, hey, man, ain't nothing in the Epstein files. Who's going to believe that? Are you going to believe that? Obviously, the people ain't believing it. They had to pass a law to try to get the files released. So that's what I'm saying, President Trump, for the naysayers, man. You can release some more information on Maduro so the public could be aware. The public could be aware. The justification. And President Trump, I think you owe that to the taxpayers, because that military hardware out there in the down there in the Caribbean, that's Americans' tax. All those ships belong to the American people. We got to, y'all know that, don't y'all? Y'all realize that all those awesome weapons President Trump always bragging about, who you think paid for those weapons? Who you think they belong to? I ain't saying who has control of them. President Trump and them obviously have control of them. Who you think the weapons belong to? Because in January 22nd, 2029, he gonna still be gone. He gonna be gone out of power, but we gonna be here still. And we still going to be having these conversations. It's still our weapons. Those are our weapons. Understand that, okay? So you got to justify not only sending the American taxpayers weapons, but spending their money as well. We got to be able to justify that. So I think President Trump, you releasing publicly information or evidence that you guys have, whatever you can release. I know a lot of this is classified. I think that'll help the argument, okay? So Cartel de los Sols, a label under debate. Multiple news organizations and scholars caution that is often used as shorthand for a network of corrupt military and state actors rather than a tightly integrated cartel with a clear chain of command. The New York Times and think tank analysis say experts view it as a loose, decentralized set of actors embedded in state institutions, and the DEA's public threat assessments historically have not listed it as a single trafficker entity. Independent and academic reporting likewise cautions against treating the label as evidence of a centralized former cartel control. I just want to say this, man. When President Trump, the DEA, they come to President Trump and they say that, hey, your boy Maduro, the leader of Venezuela, he's in control of a cartel called Cartel de los Soles. I'm saying, they're not going to break this down to President Trump. So President Trump, whenever he comes out, he tells y'all that he's the leader of a cartel. We thinking a cartel like he El Chapo, he Jefe. You feel what I'm saying? But what President Trump is saying, the DEA, the CIA, whoever's bringing him this information, what they're trying to tell you this morning is that it's been broken down, and think tank analysis says the experts view it loosely. It's a decentralized, there's no central leadership in this group, set of actors embedded in state institutions, which I believe, it doesn't say right here, but I believe that would be across. I mean, look, you could laugh, but who can argue and dispute that all across South America, all across Central America, that's where the drugs coming from? Who gonna dispute that? I'm saying, who in this stream gonna dispute that? You say it's not coming from Venezuela. You say they coming from Colombia. You say they coming from Argentina. You say they coming from Honduras. Whichever nation you coming from, Mexico, they coming from Central and South America. Is that true or not true? I think a lot of drugs come up through Mexico. A lot of drugs might be produced in Mexico, but they coming from. So look, the president of Honduras, the president that we started off saying that people were attacking President Trump for talking about freeing, they said that he said he was going to shove the cocaine up the American nose. This is Honduras. He's in jail, president of Honduras. They talking about President Maduro, president of Venezuela now. We talking about him right now, him being involved in selling drugs. His family members were arrested. His family members, Maduro's family members, direct family members were arrested in America for selling drugs. I'm saying we want to keep going. Like these, that's why whenever the DEA, because you laughing at the DEA now, you're not laughing at President Trump. That's what you got to realize. This the same DEA that's in charge when President Biden was in charge. Most of them agents are still. What you think happened? You think them agents went home now? How many agents you think in the DEA? Come on, them the same DEA agents, same leadership structure. So when you laugh at them now, remember now, Governor Newsom become president, we gonna still be laughing at the DEA. That's the same DEA that's going to be there when Governor Newsom comes now, just to let you know. I don't laugh at the Americans. It's those, the alphabet boys or the military, anything that they would classify the deep state that is America that outlives the president. I respect what they saying. Real talk. And the DEA said that there is proof. They have proof of this. How many of us have been or get paid? You know what I'm saying? We professional investigators. How many of us get paid 50 cents for investigating anything? Because I'm saying I could bring you thousands of DEA agents that getting paid probably $100,000 a year, really close to do what they doing. And they professionals and they've been trained. So if the DEA is saying this, unless it's American corruption and they lying for some other reason, what reason they go? You Ghost will talk about it. That's what you're gonna get with Ghost. Ghost will talk about what America want to attack Venezuela for, take her oil. I don't believe that. Everybody, look, what happened in the Middle East, we could debate that. I'm not trying to debate that. America got more oil than any country in the world. Facts. Who want to argue against that? America's not going to attack a sovereign nation for oil. I tend to disagree with that. Oil might be involved in, now see, I'm going to be real. Oil might be one of the reasons, but oil is not the primary reason America is got a problem with Venezuela. There's plenty of nations that got oil that America that's weaker than Venezuela, be easy to attack, that America's not trying to attack, man. I don't believe that. This is what I believe the problem is: reporting on the Narcos Sobornos case. Maduro's nephews was arrested by the DEA in 2015. That's the problem. For all of you guys who do not understand why America and President Trump and Secretary Hegseth got a problem with Maduro and Venezuela right now, because the problem ain't really with Venezuela and the Venezuelan people. If that guy got on an airplane tomorrow and flew up out of Venezuela, it's just a matter of time, and them boats, every warship America has will be coming home. I promise you. The problem's with this guy, Maduro. His nephews were arrested by the DEA in 2015. This is what I'm saying. A lot of you guys, a lot of these podcasters and legacy media people, y'all never even had contact with the law enforcement or the police, so you don't even know how this stuff go. But let Ghost tell you. Because not only am I want to appeal in the U.S. Court of Appeals, as a litigator, as a paralegal, mind you, not only have I done that, I've been on the other side of the law too. I dealt with the police on the other side. This is how this works. Anytime any kind of drug police get the drop on you, Maduro nephews were arrested by. So look, I don't know how the DEA got the drop on Maduro's nephews, but just imagine being a DEA agent and coming across Maduro's nephews for the first time. You're not having no idea what's going on in Venezuela or nothing like that. Say you a DEA agent and you stationed stateside and you just get two knuckleheads across your desk. And y'all get out there in the field, y'all got them hemmed up, and you find out that these two knuckleheads are nephews of the president of Venezuela, and they are in America selling drugs. Make that make sense. For you, Adam Mockler, I'm not picking on you, my guy, but all you guys who want to protect this drug dealer saying that he ain't really selling drugs, don't talk about no drug dealer Honduras president that's already been convicted and is in jail. President Trump I don't care about what President Trump's intentions is. That's not the argument. The argument isn't about President Trump being corrupt. That's not the argument. The argument is Maduro himself not a drug dealer? That's the argument. The argument is Maduro himself legitimately elected leader of Venezuela? That's the argument. And if he's not, well, President Trump, as long as he's doing it by legal means, which he should be able to find legal means to do it. If you can't, call Ghost and pay him. I'll find them for you. If he's doing it by legal means and he don't put American boots on the ground, you can't find no justification for why he's going to do this. Maduro's nephews arrested by the DEA in 2015. I'm the DEA agent who put cuss on Maduro's nephew. When I go back to the station and tell my superiors, you know I got the interests of every acting agent, every agent in that building is interested now. We got everybody's attention. What in the world? You mean He must not mean the president of Venezuela. You know, he must be. It must be like that. They from Florida, you know. They live in Miami, you know what I'm saying? They Venezuelans from Miami. Not the real live president of Venezuela, his nephews. Okay, his nephews in New York City and they visiting America. I mean, you would expect that, but I'm saying they out here banging. Cocaine, 2 for 1, selling that cocaine. Yeah, they out here getting it in. And other episodes has been used by critics to argue a pattern of close personal and family links to traffickers. Scholars and investigative outlets cite such episodes as contextual evidence of a permissive, environmental, and personal circle implemented in trafficking. And they citing all the sources for this information. U.S. releases reference links between Maduro's inner circle and trafficking networks to support broader criminal charges. President Trump is just a figurehead, or he's just a mouth for what's going on behind the scenes. And what's going on for behind the scenes is the DEA. If y'all got a problem with President Trump, what he's saying and going after Maduro, you need to go talk to the DEA. Because the DEA is the agency, or those are the group of people who are delivering this information to President Trump and telling President Trump, because they talking about scholars, investigative outlets, think tanks. So it's like they own this, man. They a lot deeper than somebody who just gets some information that Juan Hernandez, the former leader of Honduras, 400 tons of cocaine, and President Trump is pardoning them. That sounds juicy and icy and like a good story. You see what I'm saying? But I'm saying the accusations on Maduro are a long time coming. President Trump just stepping up to act on it. Some analysis, Philip Gunson at Crisis Group. Okay? So y'all want to attack President Trump? Philip Gunson at Crisis Group and outlets stress there is abundant evidence of military officers' links to trafficking, but say clear evidence of centrally coordinated government-ran drug trafficking under Maduro has not been presented in open sources. Y'all listen to that, okay? There is clear evidence of centrally coordinated government-ran drug trafficking. Clear evidence of centrally coordinated government-ran drug trafficking under Maduro. And this is according to Phil Gunson at Crisis Group, among others. The BBC explicitly states the U.S. has not published public evidence of Maduro's direct involvement. Ask President Trump why he don't publish the evidence. That's what you need to be asked. Don't ask him why he going over there and why he's doing that and be trying to bring up something Juan Gonzalez is doing. The only thing you need to ask President Trump is why he ain't published the evidence. Thus, public debate divides between U.S. prosecutorial assertions and independent experts who call for more transparent, attributable evidence to confirm command level coordination. Basically, what that's wanting to see is the critics want to see more of Maduro making direct commands, or see the command structure of the cartel or the drug ring that. But what I'm trying to tell you though is if you have this whole conversation on the drugs, And you take the conversation of whether or not you believe Maduro is that connected to the drugs or how connected he is to the drugs. I think that's central to the argument. But regardless, to add insult to injury, and I could keep adding insult to injury when you're talking about Maduro, he's not someone that I would be trying to protect at all. To add, he's an illegitimately elected president. And if you want to have the argument of American intervention, we can have that argument too. The purpose and the reason or the necessity of the American military intervention, we can have that argument too. But you can't justify or have any kind of reason to doubt President Trump and why he's trying to do what he's trying to do or about to do what he's about to do. The U.S. indictments and reward offers are serious. It's documented government actions alleging Maduro's personal and institutional role in narco trafficking. At the same time, credible, journalistic, and expert commentary warns that the cartel de los soles concept is contested and that public release of underlying evidence tie Maduro directly to operational trafficking remains limited in available reporting. Readers should treat official assertions and accusations as weighty and actionable steps, but also recognize that some independent analysts call for clear, publicly disclosed evidence to distinguish coordinated state criminal enterprise from fragmented corruption among officials. Listen, man. Ghost, what's up, Rock Fresh? Good morning. Good morning. As you guys come into the stream, I ask y'all like the video, subscribe to the channel. Make sure y'all hit that notification bell. Man, listen, bro. This is what I want to say. If you guys follow Legal Wars Live, you know that I've said this before, and it's like I see things before they happen. I said in my mind that I thought President Trump should come out ahead of this, and I would address this. If you're a political head, or if you're a political junkie, or if you watch or consume a lot of what President Trump says to the media, you would know and realize that President Trump, he'll say, hey, Ghost, I address this every day. Every press conference, someone asks me 2 or 3 times a day about Venezuela and what's going on. And that is true. He talk about it a lot. But what I'm saying, President Trump, if you're not a political junkie, newshead or whatever, you just finding out what's going on from Venezuela from what you hear people say at Starbucks or at Walmart or at work. You see what I'm saying? The American people haven't heard you directly address this, President Trump. And what I'm saying is it might not be that big of a deal right now. I think it's some sort of a deal right now, because how many of us have heard people talk about them double tapping the boats? I heard someone say that they struck one of the boats and people were still in the water, and they went back and struck the boat again, and that's against the law. So what I'm saying is, President Trump, y'all haven't really started any military action for real with and in Venezuela. But I'm saying when you do, oh yeah, it's gonna become huge. It's gonna be big. It's gonna be front page on every station. They're gonna be overplaying this. I'm trying to tell you. So I'm saying, if you not appropriately, if you hadn't taken the steps, I think listen, there's a lot of presidents who you could say who have illegally bombed nations. It's up for debate. International law is a very complex thing. But what I'm trying to say is, if you have came out and you have been clear with the American people about what you're doing with their weapons, it's our weapons, and what you doing with their money, because it costs a whole lot of money. You're talking about 15,000 American troops. I don't have a calculator, but they getting paid $500 plus a week. You talking about the privates making over 500 a week. 15,000 American troops out there, you do the math. And to run all that equipment, you spending money out there. American taxpayer dollars, which ghostwriters support what you're doing. But what I'm saying is, according to factually.com, what they're saying is, because see, they're basing the action, the military action. Look, in my mind, I'm just thinking, is the military action justified? Is Maduro a bad character? Does Maduro need to be removed? Does he deserve to be removed? Are the Venezuelan people happy under his leadership? Like, I'm weighing a whole lot of things. But what I'm saying is the average American voter, they're not going to weigh all that. They just going to weigh whatever your communications is. Get the wax out your ear now. Listen to Ghost. Whatever your communications is, that's what they going to judge you off of. So if you say you going after him because he got weapons of mass destruction, y'all following Ghost this morning, guys? I hope y'all woke. I hope you got some staffers in here. Hope you got some news outlets in here so y'all can hear what I'm saying, because this is humongous. I'm saying, if you saying that you going after Saddam, listen, Saddam Hussein was not a good man. He was not a good president. He was oppressive over the Iraqi people for decades, and he needed to be removed. But President Bush, the messaging, which is everything, is that he's got weapons of mass destruction. And what I'm trying to tell you is this is America. In America, you got political opponents who hate you. They can't stand you. So if you say they got weapons of mass destruction, these opponents got money. They got millions. They got enough money to send people over to Iraq, hundreds of them, and start putting microphones in people's face and asking them questions. And they gonna find something on you and say, oh, he ain't got no weapons of mass destruction, or you can't find them and you can't know, and now you in a big scandal because you're not communicating with the American people. That message in a situation like this where military action is critical. That's why Ghostwriter gonna come out and tell y'all clearly, if I work for somebody who worked for President Trump or who worked for the White House, I'll make sure the message was clearly. I'm not saying that I need to see any kind of evidence that Maduro is going on trial for being a drug dealer, like I'm going to put him on trial like El Jefe, or like I'm going to put him on trial like John Gotti. I'm going to put him on trial like El Chapo. You feel me? Ain't nobody trying to put Maduro on trial for being a drug dealer like that. I'm saying his nephews in 2015 was arrested in America. There's enough proof that he has ties or connections. His military is overseeing drug operations. He's got to be aware of that. That we do know and have facts on. But I'm saying, if the average American person or people is thinking that the only reason we are going is because of weapons of mass destruction. If the average American people, Mr. Republicans and Mr. Presidents, think that the only reason why you going to Venezuela is because this guy is a drug dealer, I'm saying you need to be talking to the American people, because you're going to have to show them that he's a drug dealer. Anything you say, President Trump, I don't care if it's coming from the DEA, and the DEA got boots on the ground and they investigated the whole scene. President Trump, listen to me. If you can hear me, if you could, this is how I would talk to you. I don't care if the DEA didn't investigated the whole scene. Y'all, it's just been a murder out here. The DEA, the FBI, all the professionals. I'm going to tell you what these internet and these underground sleuths going to do these days, if y'all can't see it. What thing happened in America that the internet ain't coming back behind? Charlie Kirk's murder, the internet that came back behind that, they got a whole different story of what happened than what the FBI say happened. Am I lying or not? Anything that happens that the FBI, what happened, President Trump's assassination, I just seen Tucker Carlson because he got a whole different story what the FBI done said. It's just not just internet sleuths. These people got money, a whole bunch of money. They could go behind, they're going to check on you. That's what they do. So I'm saying, if you saying you going into Venezuela for drugs, after those bombs start dropping and them missiles start, they going to be sending people in there to, and they're going to find like, oh yeah, DA, hey, if this was, then why they forgot this drinking cup with the DNA on it? They forgot the drinking cup. They're going to find something, I'm telling you, that you did wrong, that they're going to be questioning you about and be trying to put you on the investigation for it, especially if you lost that midterm coming up. You talking about military strikes, that's pretty serious, man. So that's what I'm saying. You got to make sure that not only do you, I believe the evidence is there. I believe what President Trump and them is saying. I believe he is a narco president. His military is overlooking the operations and his nephews was arrested. That tells me everything I need to know. So I believe that. But what I'm trying to say is Ghostwriter's argument is also that he's an illegitimately elected president. So even though, that's what I'm saying, President Trump, your message and your whole message don't need to be about drugs. Because within the drugs, they're going to find a reason. Oh, they didn't, I'm telling y'all, President Trump and them struck a boat. Okay? He struck a boat. And there were survivors. I don't know how the media know they were survivors, but the media knew there were survivors. And the media interviewing the survivors. And they done found one of the survivors said he wasn't a drug dealer. Of course, that's what all drug dealers going to say, that they're not drug dealers, but that's what I'm saying. They're going to go behind you. And they're going to turn over and check everything you do. And I'm saying, you attacking them like that without congressional authority, that's risky business. See, Ghost gonna say all of this. While y'all see the bluster, y'all say I'm just a war hawk. I'm a legal dude. Now, I understand the law and I understand politics in the game. So while y'all see me saying, yeah, Maduro has to go, Maduro, but while I'm telling him he has to go, while I'm giving you advice that he got to go, I'm telling you this too, to protect yourself. Because it's a dirty game in a dirty world, and America politics ain't no fun and it's not no joke, but President Trump chose that at 79 years old. I would have never done nothing like that. Why these people love politics so much? Ghost just in here doing it. I'm going to be on the sidelines. I'm trying to tell Jasmine Crockett, like, hey, baby, this is what the strategy, this is what the shake in the game is, and I'm trying to go home and chill the rest of the day. I'm not trying to be in the middle of that stuff like they doing. He chose that. And that's the game, President Trump. Politics, you got to know this is a dirty game. And you got opponents. And they might be seeing the evidence that you seeing. You, President Trump, listen to me now. I'm giving you game. You got opponents that might be seeing the same evidence you seeing. And everybody who see this, they know Maduro ain't no good. All the people who talking, President Trump, against you going into Venezuela, all of them, whatever their reasons are, they all know that Maduro's not no good. They don't care about what's right and what's wrong. They looking for wrong in what you doing. That's all they looking for. They don't care about America. They looking for wrong, President Trump, and what you doing. So you need to be aware of that. Okay? Must be aware of that at all times. I ask that you guys, if y'all have not already, that y'all like the video. If you're on the cell phone, just double tap your screen, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you hit that notification bell. Also, guys, everyone is welcome in this stream. I just ask that you guys be respectful to others. I welcome you guys, Republicans, Independents, and Democrats. Jump down in the comment section and let your voices be heard. Now let's start the conversation. One last thing, guys. We do got to pay the bills. I don't have no sponsors yet. I know I need to get some. Got a Christmas sponsorship coming up. I don't have them yet. I need to get them. And I'm not taking money from no party or no one else, just you guys. So super chats, super stickers, and super thanks, they all start at 99 cents. If you want to donate to the channel, you want to start a conversation, have your comment read immediately. I'll stop everything I'm doing if you donate to the channel and read your comment. Hit the button with the $ in it, and your donations are much appreciated. These people in here, y'all, this morning, they donating with gifts. That's another way you could donate. I appreciate the donations. You can hit the button with the $ in it, and you can give all kind of different gifts YouTube have for y'all to give. So, guys, I got some midstream analysis, okay? And I did that in this situation because I have something that's very important I think you guys want to hear. We got more news and more facts trying to justify President Trump and these actions that he about to do. But what I'm saying, my analysis is, like I said, if y'all just got in when we started to stream, we've been streaming for about an hour. So we starting hour number 2 right now, okay? I heard an argument presented by Dana Bash on CNN, okay? I first got it from Adam Mockler that President Trump is pardoning the Honduran president. Ghost is a tough out to try to argue with. If you guys arguing with me, that's going to be a tough out. And I know there's two sides to every story. So let's hear what President Trump's side to why he's pardoning the Honduran president. President Trump, Adam Mockler, said in a press goggle on Air Force One, either last night or the night before, that he doesn't believe the Honduran president was selling drugs. President Trump says he reviewed the evidence, and that is key. I'm saying we all wish we could see the evidence. We all wish we could see the Epstein files. That's why we've got a law passed on the Epstein files. But we got to understand that we're going to have to somewhat, somehow, some way kind of trust something that one of them is saying. Because President Trump said he reviewed the evidence in which the Honduran president was indicted. And he believes the Honduran president got criminal charges from his association with people in his country who was selling drugs, and believes the Honduran president shouldn't have to pay the price for other people in his country selling drugs. That's what President Trump says. So it's going to be like this. Either I'm going to believe President Trump or I'm not. Dana Bash reports President Trump is saying that he cares about all we hear talk about is drug stuff now. Is that right or wrong? All we hear President Trump talk about is drugs and crime and stuff like that. So Dana Bash reports that, hey, he pardoning a dude who was the president of Honduras now. Figure that. He got accused about the same thing. He got convicted and arrested President Trump about to pardon him. He was convicted of selling 400 tons of cocaine. So how President Trump really care about narco presidents and he finna pardon one? That's what Dana Bash is asking the question. That's her job. And Adam Mockler reports on it. And President Trump comes out, y'all gonna believe President T or not? He said he looked at the evidence and he don't think the Honduran president was selling drugs. That's what President Trump says. So he got evidence he's seen on Maduro, and he got evidence he's seen on the Honduran president. President Trump is the president. He was elected. That's the law. He in charge. He's the chief military officer. He's President Trump's job. The executive branch is to execute the laws of the United States. That's his job. So if he the president and the president said he looked at the evidence and he said Maduro looked like he's selling drugs and the other one not. He said he don't think the other one was. He has the legal authority to pardon him, so what can you say? I'm saying, look, to me, in the argument, that would be going down a rabbit hole. If I'm having a debate with you and we debating whether or not America should be attacking Maduro, and is this a situation of weapons of mass destruction where he's not even connected to drugs or not even a drug dealer? I don't think no one thinks this about Maduro. If this was a situation but having a debate with you and you bring up President Trump pardoning another dude, that don't have nothing to do with Maduro. Nothing at all, whether or not he deserves to be dealt with or not. Nothing to do with him. But President Trump said he looked at the evidence and he don't think the Honduran president was selling drugs. That's why he pardoned him. However, the case with Maduro is that Maduro's family members, his nephews, were actually caught with their hands in the pot, red-handed, selling drugs in America. That's the difference. If Maduro's nephews were never charged, then I think President Trump's argument would be very tough to make, to Ghost. But I'm saying just the simple fact that Maduro's nephews were charged, when the DEA tell me that they know that the Venezuelan military is overseeing drug operations. Because what I'm going to say is what every investigator, I don't have the money CNN and them have to be running down there. But what I'm going to say what everyone else said, like the Epstein files, you want to see the evidence too. You want to see what's in the files. We want to see what's in all the files. That'll help us make the right decisions. But we can't see what's in the files. It's some of this stuff classified. But if we can't see what's in the files, the reason why I'm going to believe this is not a weapons of mass destruction, and the reason why I'm going to believe the DEA and the CIA and them when they telling me that this guy is down there, got the military overlooking drug operations, I believe that because Maduro's nephews were arrested in America selling drugs. To me, that's the catalyst in this whole situation. It explains all of it. You talking about the Colombian president? I heard he was selling drugs too. I seen him do an interview the other day. He said that's nonsense. That's what they all gonna say. A lot of them presidents down there selling drugs. But what I'm saying with Maduro, he's different because a lot of these other presidents, I'm not hearing that they're illegitimately elected. But Maduro is illegitimately elected. That's what I'm saying. That's my argument too. Just as much as a drug, because see, when I first started agreeing with President Trump on that getting tough with Venezuela, another part of my catalyst to my argument is the Nobel Peace Prize winner, Miss Machado. She from Venezuela. You got an American president who's one of the most popular human beings that ever lived. I mean, one of the most famous human beings. Donald Trump is as famous as anybody else. He was already famous before he became president. So he wanted that's facts, stats and facts. One of the most famous human beings, whether you like him or not, that's alive. It's just the way I look at things, man. It's just how I look at it. I'm just trying to find a way out for Maduro. I can't find no way out for him. His family members were caught red-handed. And afterwards, the United States, they put his family members under investigation. What would you do? You would do the same thing. And they drew the conclusion with rock-solid evidence that this isn't no weapons of mass destruction. The United States has rock-solid evidence that Maduro himself, not just the association, he himself is overlooking drug selling operation in Venezuela. His nephews were arrested. That's the catalyst in this situation. He's unlegitimately elected. That's a catalyst in my argument for American intervention, not just the drugs. one of the most popular people in the world, Donald Trump. And listen, how it started for me, they said that, look, they said Maria Machado won the Nobel Peace Prize over President Trump, and they said President Trump was pouting. His lid was on the floor. So you know what Ghost did? My inquisitive mind, I looked up Miss Maria Machado. Who is Maria Machado? She like a modern day Helen Keller? Why would they give a Maria Machado the Nobel Peace Prize over President Trump? And I started reading about it. Oh, Miss Machado, she is a modern day Helen Keller. She is. Oh, Miss Machado, she a freedom fighter. Ain't that what ghosts do? Ain't that what ghosts believe in? She is trying to free the Venezuelan people from oppression. When I read that, like, that kind of put me on President Trump's side, because it ain't really his side I'm on the people who suffering side. I'm on Miss Machado's side. She fighting for her people. So it wasn't really about President Trump. Yeah, go free them. Oh, he talking about drugs? Then yeah, I'm going to throw in some drugs. Oh, he was illegitimately elected? That put the cherry on the cake for me. He ain't supposed to be there anyway. So you ain't doing nothing wrong by removing them. You just helping them because they don't have control of the military or the men with guns to remove them. So we got some outside men with guns to remove them. So, but when you told me, when I found out his nephews were arrested in America, this ain't like going after the Colombian president. This ain't even like convicting the Honduran president. Because I'm saying you arrested his nephews with their hands on the dope. So any association you make with him, because like I said, the Epstein files, they not going to, on every situation, show you the files. We want to see the files on everything. They're not going to show us the files on everything. So in my mind, once you arrested his nephews in America, then when the DEA say, hey, Ghost, this what's in the files, he allowing the military to oversee drug operations. He drawing lines on the map with drug routes. I'm going to believe it. Because what his nephew's doing in America selling dope. I'm going to believe it. That's just me personally. Furthermore, Maduro hasn't faced any charges to be given a pardon. If you want to connect him, which he has no connection with the Honduran president that y'all say selling dope, that 400 tons of cocaine, shove it up their nose, that President Trump finna pardon, Maduro hasn't been arrested ever to be given a pardon. And he needs to face justice. I'm saying, can you argue, are y'all arguing against Ghost that the Maduro, the leader of Venezuela, don't need to face justice? I don't think that's your argument. You're just talking about America being the ones to do it. We could argue that a different day. So even if Maduro wasn't selling drugs with his own hands, he's staying in power after he lost the election badly. It wasn't even close. Guys, he didn't just lose the election. He lost the election by like 50 points. I put that on everything. He lost the election like 56 to 25. I don't have the exact numbers. Don't hold me to it, but he lost the election bad. It wasn't even close. The Venezuelan people don't want him. He got like less than a third of the vote. Less than a third. His opponent got twice as much vote as he did. And he just didn't leave. Imagine if that happened. All y'all Democrats who hate President Trump, imagine if that happened in 2029. Wouldn't you want someone to come help rescue us? Oh, it's 2029, y'all. President Trump, he didn't, J.D. Vance or whoever lost the election, President Trump, he just looking at y'all when Marine One come. He looking at y'all like, I ain't going nowhere. I'm staying right here. And so now it's 2042 and President Trump's still the president. He like 103 years old. Wouldn't y'all want someone to help us remove President Trump from office? He's not a legitimately elected president. It's all about messaging. That's what I'm saying. I'm going to make the case about Maduro. I'm not going to just say, y'all, he a drug dealer, so I'm going to go in there and get him because he a drug dealer. He is connected to drugs. That's all the way fact. He's connected to drugs. He's connected to the dealing of drugs, and that's fact. I told y'all that. His nephew, he is connected, but I'm saying you got to be careful with what you say now, because if the reason you going in there is because they got weapons of mass destruction and you don't tell the full story, then they going to come behind you, bro. I'm telling you, and they going to make it seem like what you did was bad. Saddam Hussein was one of the most despicable human beings that ever lived. But that's not what President Bush was saying. He was saying he was a bad man, but what they was preaching is the weapons of mass destruction. So if they don't find no weapons, the people who going against you, they done forgot Saddam Hussein is a bad man. They don't care about that no more. They just against you. They don't care about nothing but you losing or against you. Or that's how arguing and debating is. They looking for your weakness. You ain't gonna find no weakness with Ghost. I'm gonna have all of that tidied up. I'm going to tidy all of that up. Hey, y'all, this is what we doing over there in Venezuela, y'all. I know I'm busy. I ain't too busy, though, to address the nation and tell the American people myself and go on record that Maduro is an illegitimately elected president. His nephews was caught selling drugs in America. I want to break that network. We know it's a network going to South America with all these selling drugs. I want to break that network. And Miss Maria Machado, come over here and talk on the camera, Miss Maria. Because they going to love you a lot better than they like me, President Trump. That's why they gave her the award before they gave you. Because the world will love her before they love you. She a freedom fighter. And she prettier than you, President Trump. Just being real. You know what I'm saying? For real, though. That's just facts. In my opinion, even if Maduro isn't selling drugs, he's still in power. After he lost that bad and he persecuting his people, oppressing his people, he needs to go. Period. He's so messed up. It don't matter what angle you come from. There's no way you could protect him or defend him. Maduro. He needs to go. If you say he ain't doing drugs or he ain't selling drugs, my bad, I'll say, oh, well, he an illegitimately elected president. If you say, oh, well, there's a bunch of illegitimate, oh, well, he oppressing his people. Any way you come at me, the same conclusion, he needs to go, period. President Trump, in my opinion, you have the moral authority. And now, I'm not an expert in international law now. I didn't explain that. Because after this attack now, I'm explaining this too now, because the Democrat, they going to come find and they go, you support him after he done blew a bow out to the people, he going to find a law or something you did wrong. You just got Ghost understand the game. I see everything, the whole chessboard, before, during, after, I see it all. So they're going to be trying to find something you did wrong now after you attack Venezuela. They're going to be looking for something you did wrong now, so watch your step. And you talk about the advice that I gave. Now, I'm going to stand on my advice because I'm telling you everything that I'm going to say. I'm not an expert in international law. So I can't speak to the legality of it. You see, if I had a White House, Ghost is a legal dude, I'm going to go over there because, see, you talking about Americans with Disabilities Act. Oh, yeah, I'm expert in that. I claim that. I'm a disabled veteran. That's who I protect. I know them laws off the bat without having to research them. But you talking about international law and the what you call that? The code of conduct or the enemy combat. I don't know none of that stuff. So you got lawyers in the White House. I'm going to go to the lawyers first. And I'm going to make sure I'm legal. And after I make sure I'm legal, I'm going to come with the same conclusion that Maduro has to go. If you guys have not liked the video, I ask that y'all double tap the screen, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Make sure y'all hit that notification bell. Thank you guys so far for the donation. Also, guys, if y'all want to donate to the channel, just make sure you guys hit that button with the $ in it, and your donations are much appreciated. Guys, we have more news, same source, factually.com. More information and facts and evidence that the Department of Justice and other government agencies have that Maduro is a real drug lord. The U.S. Department of Justice have indicted Nicolas Maduro. Oh, so Maduro, you've been indicted before a grand jury. A grand jury found Maduro. And at least 14 current and former Venezuelan officials on a suit of criminal counts include narco terrorism, conspiracy to import cocaine and other drug trafficking offenses, weapons charges. How many of us knew about weapons charges? Ain't nobody knew that. Possession and conspiracy to possess machine guns and destructive devices, and violations of U.S. sanctions laws, such as the International Emergency Economic Powers Act and the Kingpin Act. The indictments were announced in multiple jurisdictions in New York, Washington, and Miami, and accompanied a large reward offers, initially up to $15 million in 2020, and later raised by U.S. authorities, reflecting both criminal charges and an effort to secure Maduro's arrest or conviction. What the DOJ formally charged: narco terrorism, pipelines of crimes, public materials, state that one superseding indictment accuses Maduro and co-defendants, of narco terrorism, substantial drug trafficking, including conspiracy to import cocaine, and weapons offenses, specifically possession and conspiracy to possess machine guns and destructive devices, alleging they use state power to shield and facilitate drug trafficking networks. So basically what the government is saying, that Maduro himself, he wasn't out there selling drugs like his little nephew, but they use state power in the military to help shield and to help facilitate the drug networks. So it sounds like Maduro like pay for play. He just corrupt. You come pay me some money, and then, I help the cartel sell drugs and guns and move drugs and guns, and it's all involving America. A separate superseding indictment alleges violations of the International Emergency Economic Powers Act and the Foreign Narcotics Kingpin Destination Act, together with a related conspiracy to defraud the United States, signaling the charges go beyond narcotics and weapons to include alleged invasion of U.S. sanctions and financial controls. So it looks like the government got a little bit or a lot of bit more on Maduro, the Venezuelan president, than what they're letting on, okay? Who else is named alongside Maduro? DOJ documents and U.S. law enforcement releases name multiple senior Venezuelan figures in the same cases. They named some people and others, plus leaders of the Colombia FARC factions, alleged to have colluded with Venezuelan officials, reflecting an indictment strategy that targets an inner circle rather than an isolated actor. Listen, this is what I got to say about this. Before President Trump put the aircraft carrier out there in the Caribbean and everything like that, I'm saying they're looking to charge Maduro. They're looking to arrest and put Maduro on trial. He's been indicted. They brought charges on him. They trying to put handcuffs on him, just like the Honduran president was arrested. They trying to arrest Maduro. I think this just a little different than the weapons of mass destruction. Y'all don't think so? I think it's a good deal different to me than the weapons of mass destruction. I don't think in the weapons of mass destruction was they ever trying to arrest Saddam Hussein. I don't think they were. They weren't charging Saddam Hussein. They just maybe they were international court. But I'm saying that makes a difference because if you arresting him, I'm saying this man gonna stand. The president of Venezuela. He gonna get lawyers. He gonna be able to stand trial. You see what I'm saying? He gonna be able to tell you that he did or he didn't do, or he agree or he don't agree with certain things and certain. I mean that's a situation that, you know what I'm saying, that makes a difference. You know, if you arresting him, then if you just charging him with something, that makes, in my opinion, that makes a ginormous difference. Because if you just accusing him and charging him over there or something, then you could go take him out or anything like that. But I'm saying it's like the Americans want him to stand trial. Look, we could put you in jail because you really committed crimes against us. The charges were announced across U.S. Offices, notably the Southern District of New York, South Florida, and Washington components, after multi-agency investigations by the DEA, ICE, HSI, and others. U.S. officials have publicly, tied the probe to seizures and prosecutions that they say netted hundreds of millions in assets and tons of cocaine, though the exact seizure totals are reported in different ways across states. More than, I'm sorry, guys. So the criminal cases have been accompanied by escalating reward offers from the U.S. government narcotics rewards program. An initial up to $15 million offer that U.S. agencies later raised, reflecting intensified pressure to obtain arrest information from Maduro, a move that doubles as a law enforcement action and diplomatic signaling. That's a lot of signaling going on, but it's like if they wanted to put handcuffs on him with the aircraft carrier out there, I don't know how you're going to put handcuffs on him. Unless you're going, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what President Trump's plans are in this situation. You know what I'm saying? The government's framing an opposition view. DOJ and DEA officials frame the indictments as exposing devastating systematic corruption. I believe that. To me, it's whether or not you believe that. I personally believe that. I believe there is devastating systematic corruption in Venezuela. Who doesn't believe that? Y'all don't believe that? I believe it. And the weaponization of cocaine to harm the United States. Available sources know Maduro and his allies deny the allegations. Y'all excuse me just real quick. I apologize about that, y'all. And deny the allegations. External commentary and Venezuelan officials have described U.S. moves as political or propaganda, illustrating competing narratives that the DOJ criminalization strategy intersects with geopolitics. So here we have, they're just saying components, but I guess people that are not in favor of American action against Venezuela and Venezuelan officials, they describe it as propaganda. You know, I mean, if you were selling drugs, I don't know if the Venezuelan people or the South American people, I don't know if they see selling drugs being that wrong. And I don't believe that's racist for me to say that whatsoever. Because the reason why I say that is because it's like everybody down in South America and Central America, not everybody, but it's rampant drug dealing. It's almost in every country and every square inch of the continent. So to say that, I want to say like maybe because, you know, the economic problems they have, like a lot of them, maybe they don't think that drug dealing is that wrong. Maybe they don't. Because it's a big problem with the drug dealing. And they saying that it's propaganda. America talking about, you know what I'm saying, Venezuelan and their officials and the military. I know, and listen, I know as a criminal, I've dealt with criminals, I've been a criminal. I know that the first thing you're going to say is, nah, I wasn't doing that. We ain't do that. Well, he lying. We ain't do none of that. That's propaganda. He's lying. And they saying that it's geopolitics. And I've heard that too. Somebody saying that President Trump and them, they just got something against Maduro. And they just want Maduro out of there. But I'm saying if that's not fair, the reason, listen, whatever argument you have for why President Trump and them are trying to remove Maduro, whatever argument you have for why they're trying to do it, or all I'm saying, you got to present a legitimate argument for why they shouldn't remove him, or a legitimate argument for why you support him not being removed. Because I'm saying I got a whole legitimate, super legitimate argument for why he needs to go. So President Trump could say he removing him because of the drugs. He removing him because he an illegitimate president. He removing him for the corruption. Whatever reason he removing him for, all I'm saying is you need to come with an argument that is the reason why he don't need to be removed. Not he don't need to be removed because President Trump is pardoning the Honduran president too. That's not a reason he don't need to be removed. Oh, he don't need to be removed because President Trump or because of Marco Rubio. Don't tell me about none of them. Tell me something about Maduro. The U.S. government, they didn't charge Maduro like that boy is a criminal. He a bad person. They trying to put him in jail. So tell me something about how Maduro isn't a bad person. Tell me something about how he a good person. Tell me something about how Maduro doesn't need to go to jail or don't deserve to go to jail. Oh, Maduro be out there feeding the homeless every week. That's why his country is starving. Oh, Maduro be out there, he a good church man. He go to church, man. He don't sell no drugs. President Trump and them crazy. They just want the oil. But I'm saying you can't defend Maduro in no way. If you say President Trump just wants the oil, how we going to know unless we see them stealing Venezuelan oil after Maduro's gone? You think they crazy? Nah, they ain't going to do that. I'm saying whatever reason you say President Trump is going after Maduro, how we going to know? Unless you could come with something that proves Maduro's not a bad person. Does that make sense? If you say, hey, Ghost, Maduro's not a bad person, and President Trump saying he going after him like he a bad person, then that would explain that, hey, President Trump not going after him because of the drugs or him being illegitimate, whatever reason. There's a million reasons to remove that dude. And when you get in situations like with Saddam, where there's a million reasons to remove him, I could say it's only one thing left to do. Sayonara, he got to go. Because I'm saying the next president or the next whoever, or the next CIA or the next DEA, you're going to keep having the same problem. They're going to keep wanting them gone. He got to go. Unless you could come up with, like I said, reasons why he should stay. I hadn't heard nobody, not one reporter, pundit, nobody say any positive reason why Maduro should still be president of Venezuela tomorrow. Tomorrow. Available sources in this packet do not provide full indictment counts of every statutory provision or the specific indictment language for every named individual, nor do they include court docket text or full evidentiary record. They summarize the chief allegations and the Justice Department's characterization. For line-by-line statutory citations, the underlying indictment documents and court dockets would need to be consulted, not found in court reporting. Combining narco, terrorism, trafficking, weapons, and sanction-related charges allows prosecutors to pursue multiple legal avenues against alleged transnational enterprise and to leverage financial sanctions and rewards to isolate defendants, incentivize cooperation or tips This dual criminal and sanctions approach also serves as U.S. policy objectives by constraining Venezuela's leadership while preserving criminal remedies. Bottom line, U.S. authorities accuse Maduro and senior Venezuelan officials of leading an institutionalized drug trafficking enterprise protected by state power and of violating U.S. sanctions, charging a mix of narco terrorism, drug import conspiracy, weapons offenses, and sanction evasion crimes. Public DOJ summaries and reward announcements reflect a mix, but the detailed indictment text and evidentiary basis are not reproduced in the individual sources. Basically, it's just saying that it's not telling you everything, but it's telling us enough. In my opinion, it's telling Ghost enough. You know what I'm saying? President Trump not coming out and saying, hey, we are going after Maduro and we stationed out here in Venezuela because of A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. But he told us he's a bad dude and he connected in drugs and he overseeing drugs and his nephew then got arrested in America. In my opinion, man, I've seen enough to justify the actions that President Trump and them are planning on taking. In my opinion, you need to come with something about Maduro. You can't come and say, hey, he letting out this dude and he letting out this dude. That don't have nothing to do with Maduro. If you want to knock Ghost off my argument and off my square and why I stand where I stand, you need to come with something with Maduro being a good person where he don't deserve to be removed. We've been streaming for about an hour and 36 minutes. And I don't want to have to keep coming back to Venezuela and doing this topic until the action starts and it's news. Because I'm saying Venezuela is capturing the news stories. It's being talked about 24/7. But what I'm trying to say, I'm not trying to keep coming back to this. There's so much other stuff that we could be giving strategy on. But for the American first people, who say, listen, Tucker might say, Ghost, everything you saying is factual. I'm not disputing everything you saying. I don't think he'll say it like that because I heard him talking about no drugs coming from Venezuela. But he not getting the details and the facts. President Trump and them not saying drugs are coming from Venezuela. They're just saying he oversees or he's a part of a network of drug dealers or a drug operation. He never said the drugs were coming or being sold by Venezuela. That's not what he said. So if you if you Tucker somebody, you saying, hey, like, say if you said, Ghost, everything you saying about Maduro might be true. But my problem with America doing that is that's not our problem, and that we don't want to spend our tax dollars to go down there and have to do that. Because, see, I could argue those kind of people, too, for the isolationists or the American first people. Because I'm saying, why you got the aircraft carriers if you're not going to use them? Why you got the biggest military in the world if you ain't gonna use it? Why you spending $1 trillion on military spending if you're not gonna use it? You spending the money. You got the hardware and you got the troops. So whose job is it? The American Navy is the world's police. That is the world's police. You know what I'm saying? So whose job is it to take care of Venezuela then? They on our side of the world too. He's selling drugs into our country. All these things he's doing, I didn't see nothing in there President Trump accused him of that he was doing against the Venezuelan people. But I'm accusing him of doing stuff against the Venezuelan people too, because I believe in American exceptionalism. I believe that we should go remove dictators to free people. If you preaching freedom and democracy across the whole world, You spend more money than your closest rival, China, ×3 on your military. You got the most experienced fighting unit in the world. I'm saying, who gonna go be G.I. Joe? You can't have a Chinaman be G.I. Joe. It wouldn't be G.I. Joe. You can't have a Russian man be G.I. Joe. It wouldn't be G.I. Joe. The only G.I. Joe I know is an American hero. You need them Marines. Not in Venezuela, President Trump. Don't put no boots on the ground. But what I'm saying is I believe in American power and American exceptionalism. If you don't want America to be the world's police, then what we need to do is we need to start by selling all our aircraft carriers. Because there's no reason to have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times the closest opponent in aircraft carriers and be patrolling all over the world, logistically able to get anywhere in the world within 30 days, deploying thousands of troops. There's no reason to do that with your military if you're not finna fight no fights or no battles. You might as well sell all your military equipment. You know how much money we can make if we sold all F-35? I was meaning to do this. Watch some. I know about how much the aircraft carrier costs. I think they said it was like $13 billion. Let me see how much an F-35 costs. How much does one F-35 cost? How much does a F-35 cost? One F-35 is about 80 to 83 million per jet. How many F-35s 35 does the U.S. have? The U.S. have. Hold up, they didn't want to tell us how many F-35s does the United States have? 630 F-35s, and that 80 million apiece. Y'all want me to get the calculator? That's just one airplane that America has. How much money you talking about? Billions. Just one plane. America has thousands of planes they could sell like this. They have thousands of aircraft. About 11 aircraft carriers. How much one of them aircraft carriers cost? How much is an aircraft carrier? Carrier. 13 billion. John F. Kennedy, 12 billion. The Enterprise, 12 billion. The entire Ford class program is about 120 billion. That's just Ford class. 120 billion. I'm saying you got ships, you got planes, you got tanks, you got armored vehicles for all the American first people. America has trillions in military equipment. Are you for America just selling all of its military equipment? Just hand the keys to other kingdom, to China, to Putin. Hey, Pooh, we believe in America first. I'm representing the America first people, okay? Hey, Vladimir, we believe in America first. So in America first, Vladimir, this is what we gonna do. We're not gonna be fighting all the foreign wars and running to people's aids and doing all this. We ain't doing none of all that stuff no more. This MAGA, this is America first. We not doing that stuff no more. We don't believe in that, right, Vice President Vance? We America first. We not running to people's aids and we not doing none of that stuff no more. So Vladimir, this is what I want to say. I want to say, man, we got trillions of dollars worth of military equipment. Since we not going to be the world police no more, we might as well sell them, don't it? What's the point of a man having $1 trillion in guns and he ain't going to use them? You don't want to be the world police, then Vladimir, we'll sell all of our military hardware to you in China. We just need the trillions for our military. And those trillions, it'll cut down our military debt. Now we ain't got no military hardware. Now, Vice President Vance, you don't have to worry about no president coming in and getting into somebody else's conflict. We'll never get in nobody else's conflict no more. We ain't got no military hardware. And that $1 trillion we spending every year on the defense budget, we could just put that somewhere else. So now we ain't got no military. We ain't spending nothing on defense, so we'll never get involved in another foreign conflict and never spend no money, send no money to no foreign. So say all y'all America First people, you get everything you want just how you want it. And so now you over here and you ain't sending no money to Israel. Everybody hating on us helping Israel. America probably didn't help every nation in the entire world once or twice. But everybody today, I want to hear Nick Fuentes, some racist trash dude. Nick Fuentes, you racist trash dude. I want to hear Nick Fuentes all of a sudden now he's saying that he got everybody hating on Israel. So they hating on Israel because we give Israel some money, some financial donations. America give every nation almost in the world some money. That's soft power. So you ain't doing that no more, Nick Fuentes. You ain't giving nobody no money. You ain't giving Israel no money. You ain't getting involved in no world conflicts. We done sold all the military equipment. Nick Fuentes, we forget going to level 2. Let's go to level 1,000. You won. No more military conflicts for America no more. You won. So we just over here getting money. And say for a little bit, you was right. You know, you sold that military hardware. You knocked the deficit down some trillions. We over here getting money now. This the richest we ever been. America right now. All my Make America Great Again people, you was right. We done sold our military hardware. We stopped spending all the money on the military, you know. We ain't even got no military no more, really. Just a couple of little dudes, you know, not really no military. So now we stopped sending money to the foreign. We rich now. We super rich. How long you think that's going to last for? You look at these little, small, rich nations, you know why they still standing? It's because of America. Because Putin would have been came through there and took their money. Believe that. There's robbers who would have in the world, these world leaders, bro, they corrupt. They would have been attacked these smaller countries for their money and riches. That's been going on since the beginning of time. You can get as rich as you want to without a strong military. You won't keep it. The reason why America is safe is because of that strong military, is because we are the world police, bro. You know how many them nations been wanting to get rid of America. They've been wanting to get rid of the United States, man. So that's where Ghost stand, man. I'm America first. I think America first is by having a strong military. That's what I think of America first. I think America first is America's interests being protected across the world. Because if you don't protect America's interest today, you're going to have to fight for them tomorrow. We learned that with World War II. Real talk. We learned that in World War II. So that's pretty much my take on the news story, man. I really do appreciate you guys coming in, man, and tapping in with Ghostwriter, man. You know what I'm saying? You guys could jump down in the comments, man. Y'all could let me know what y'all think or how y'all feel, man. If y'all agree with my analysis, man. You know what I'm saying? That's my take, man, on the situation with Venezuela, man. That's my whole take. That's how my whole belief system, that's my whole thought system, man. I just feel like, you know, I support it. I really do, man. I feel like Maduro's a bad person. I feel like you got a Nobel Peace Prize winner already in place down there. Maduro was illegally elected. the corruption, the drugs, if you put it all together, man, in my opinion, the picture and the storyboard only say one thing, and it say remove them. You know? America has the military. America has the means to do it. You know, President Trump has decided to make that move, so I don't see why we don't support our service members. For you to get me to say that I don't support our service members or I don't support President Trump in this move, you're going to have to come with something Maduro did. You can't just say, oh, President Trump isn't going after Maduro because of the drugs. Look, he letting Juan Hernandez out of jail. Okay, maybe he is. But that don't have nothing to do with no kind of indictments that we laying out on Maduro. The Department of Justice laying out indictments on Maduro, the DEA, all of us legal people, all of us are indicting Maduro. So you need to defend Maduro. You saying President Trump is doing this for regime change. President Trump ain't saying regime change. Ghost is saying regime change. They need to change regimes, excuse me. He needs to hit them drug boats and that Venezuelan military and them drug cartels. I mean, that network, they need to go hide. They need to be hiding. They need to be arrested. They need to be all of that. And America needs to be the nation to do it. That's how I feel. America is that nation. It is that city still on the shining hill. America still needs to perform. America still needs to go to the rescue of these other nations. Miss Maria Machado herself been calling out to President Trump for weeks. President Trump, listen, you know how President Trump was crying about that Nobel Peace Prize? Yeah, I'm not a Republican or MAGA. I'm independent, man. I'm a big independent. I care and love America, so I'm going to just say this is a political strategy channel. This ain't no news channel, really. I give news and strategy, but it's a strategy channel. This ain't no conspiracy theorist. This ain't no hate on President Trump situation. I don't hate President Trump. You know what I'm saying? I try to just give the best advice that I know that I could give and the way to handle this. But I'm saying for all the people who oppose, I believe in America power. I believe in that. I believe you got all those aircraft carriers for a reason. You got them F-35s and them Tomahawk missiles. I think you got all that hardware for a reason. We live in a dangerous world. And if we not first, we going to be dead last. Everybody want to be France. France is a rich nation, one of the richest nations in the world. Well, it's probably about the size of Texas. They're per capita, they rich. One of the biggest GDPs in the world, and it's about the size of Texas. It's a rich nation. You know what I'm saying? Y'all feeling that? But I'm saying France can't keep its riches without America. The reason why France is rich and they standing is because China wouldn't dare. Putin wouldn't dare. He knows the consequences. If you take America out the world, Putin finna go run through Paris. It's already been proven. She'll run through Paris if you take America out the world, man. That's what I'm saying. If you want to be, if America want to be France, who gonna be France? Who gonna be America? China? If China is the world power, they gonna come steal your riches. They're gonna take your wealth. Russia gonna come ramshack your house. If you get rid of your military weapons, North Korea gonna get you. Real talk, Iran gonna get you. America got enemies, man. Real live enemies, man, that hate us. There's people who want us extinguished from the earth, just like the Iranians and the Hamas hates the Jews and Israel. You got to be aware of that, man. You can't be some kind of, we need to care about our spending and how we give money and how we give aid and how we doing everything. We need to be aware of everything. We do got a $38 trillion debt, and we do need to work on that. President Trump tried to address it. He started addressing it. At least he made some attempts. He just didn't go all the way. But he started to address it, though, with the tariff money and everything. He just didn't go all the way. But in my opinion, man, these things, bro, they are important. They are a matter of national security, whether our nation survives or don't survive. And there's a bunch of people in the world who don't believe America should be involved in no military conflicts. Maybe not giving all that foreign aid to nations. Maybe I'm not for giving all of that foreign aid, but just saying you're going to get rid of all foreign money you giving to other nations. And you're going to get rid of all you don't want to get involved in no military conflict. That's the quickest way to get in a war, is by being a chicken. America live in a dangerous neighborhood. We're not in Bel Air. Our neighborhood isn't dangerous as Israel, but this is a dangerous world. We don't live in Bel Air, bruh. You feel me? We don't live in some the Hamptons. We don't live in them kind of neighborhoods, bro. I'm telling you, if we didn't have the authority and the power to defend ourselves, China and Russia would have been attacked us. We would have been attacked. A lot of things in the world stay the way it does because of the United States. The United States has maintained the world order since World War II. Which president was it? Was it Eisenhower? Which president was the president? I'm not as good in history as politics. My daddy always used to talk about me because he a history dude. What president was president during Pearl Harbor? You see what I'm saying? That president, after Pearl Harbor, he made a determination to build up the American military so that Pearl Harbor won't happen again. And then 9/11 happened. You got to meet these lunatics in their backyard. Do you understand that? I ain't saying this is Maduro, and Maduro isn't going to attack America. He might not attack America with a gun. He going to attack America with some cocaine. Maduro not attacking America. In South America, they're not attacking America with guns. They're attacking them with cocaine, with drugs. So whether he got drugs or he got a gun or whatever, he like an enemy combatant of the state, man. That needs to get dealt with. I don't care what we say, how we feel, you gotta come. I'm gonna come back in here. I'm gonna step off for a second, man. Let y'all get it together. I need one of y'all down there to come. If y'all want to defend Maduro, come with some good Maduro's doing. Come with some stuff that I'm saying you just hating President Trump or you just being against President Trump. I understand that. On Thursday, guys, this Thursday, upcoming at 6:30 a.m. Eastern, I got a new series called Jasmine for Texas. If you guys don't know, Jasmine Crockett, she represents the 30th District in the state of Texas, 30th Congressional District. She running for Senate. I want to start doing political strategy. So on Thursday, I'm going to do some political strategy for you live. Straight for Jasmine Crockett. We going to crank it up. You know what I'm saying? I said all that to say that, yeah, I understand Jasmine's position as an independent. I understand she opposes President Trump. That's her job. She's a Democrat. And she a high-ranking Democrat, too. New, but she got clouded up and goaded up real quick. You see what I'm saying? So I'm saying I understand baby girl position. She's supposed to oppose him. That's what her job is. That's what she do. She a Democrat. But I'm saying coming from Ghost as a political strategist, I'm not going to develop strategy off of someone's opposition to President Trump. Every time she comes, she might be coming opposed to President Trump. You see what I'm saying? So everything she said, I'm not developing strategy off of someone being opposed to someone or not. I'm developing strategy off of a clear-minded I'm objectively thinking. That's why people can trust my words. That's why I could come work for you, Jasmine. Because you gonna know that I'm gonna give you clear-minded, objective opinions. I'm not going to be bogged down. If you get a Democratic strategist, he bogged down in that Democratic strategy stuff. And there's certain stuff, Jasmine, he'll never advise you to do that I advise you to do. And they'll look at her and they'll say, what? She a Republican? Nah, she not no Republican. She gonna let you know she not no Republican. But she got an election to win in the state of Texas. And a Democrat will never tell you to do this, Jasmine. We get into it now. We get into it. Like we first start off, I'll just do the basics. Oh, you need 20,000 volunteers. You need to say, you know what I'm saying? You just do the basic stuff. But I'm saying we get into it. It's some stuff I'll tell you to do that a Democratic strategist, Jasmine, will never tell you to do it. He'll never look at it objectively. And there's a really good chance when you look at Houston, when you look at Dallas and Austin, that's about 18 million or so people. So 18 million out of 30 million, that's over 60% of the population. The majority of the population of Texas live in the Dallas, Houston, or Austin metro areas. And you got in Houston and Dallas metro is majority black and brown. So that looks really good for Jasmine, really, really well. Austin is about 50-50, a little less than 50, or a little more than 50-50. You see what I'm saying? It looks really good for Jasmine, but she got to win more than just black and brown voters. She got to win some white people. She got to win more than white Democratic voters. She got to win some white people who on the fence. Yeah. You got to, unless you're going to run 100, unless she win at 90%. And if you win 90% of the vote, Jasmine, in Houston, Dallas, and Austin, you don't have to win no other place in Texas. If you win 90% of the vote in Houston, Dallas, and Austin, but still, if you get 90% of the vote in Austin, you're going to need some white people. And I don't mean white Democrats. I mean some of them. She from Texas. If I had a conversation with her, she know what I'm talking about. You're going to have to convince some people to vote for you over Paxton. And he a good old boy. I'm saying if there's any Democrat on that list, because when I look, I didn't even see the numbers. But if y'all go, I promise y'all the first time I seen them numbers or even looked at them numbers was like yesterday or the day before. And Colin Aura is at the bottom of the list, just like I thought. If I was Colin Aura, I mean, when you heard Jasmine was going to get in and Colin, you might as well get out. You ain't got no chance. That Tallarico dude or whatever his name is, I mean, I heard he was pretty popular. I don't know much about him. But looking at the polls, he way below Jasmine. And Beto O'Rourke ain't even close. So it looked like she going to have pretty quick. She do all the right things with that Democratic primary, ain't going to be too tough. But that general, man, for that Senate seat, Jazzy, you going to have to win, baby. You going to have to win some of them rednecks, some of them nicks, some of them rednecks. You going to have to convince them. Jasmine, if I got your campaign, it's not too hard to convince that redneck white boy in Texas to vote for you. Real talk. He look on you, Jazzy. You easy on the eyes now. You know what I'm saying? He look at you. You easy on the eyes. You just got to be saying the right stuff. And you could cross them over. You could get them to vote for you. I done seen it happen a lot all the time. Jazzy, it's some of your speech, you're going to have to, she real proper in her talk, but, sometimes, you're going to have to lead some personalities and personas at the house. You got to run to the middle. At least to that election over, I believe in winning. So, y'all, this Thursday, we're going to be talking about political strategy, man. I'm going to give y'all a news story, too. You know what I'm saying? I think affordability is her message. She got to tailor the affordability message according to the needs of the community, the communities of the people of Texas. You see what I'm saying? But affordability, the message, all she needs the strategy. She a superstar, Jazzy. It ain't no reason why, baby. You You know what I'm saying? Straight to the top with big Ghostwriter, man. I'm excited, man. Jasmine Crockett, she gonna be the first female senator of Texas, man. You know what I'm saying? I just hope she get on that phone and give me a phone call, man, so she can help elevate my career too, because I really want to get into political strategy, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm already litigating cases. I'm not gonna never be no. So, you know what I'm saying? I really do want to get into political strategy, political advice. So that's what we're working on next. Guys, give me a few minutes. Y'all get those comments jumping. Y'all just try to be respectful. I ask y'all to be respectful. Republicans, Independents, Democrat, I do the debate. Just be intellectual and respectful. You know what I'm saying? You guys be respectful. I'm going to come back and jump down in the comments with y'all and see what's cracking. Let's see. Nah, I wouldn't say that. Hey, nah, not with my strategy. I appreciate that comment. Look, Steven, I want you to be a moderator. You know what I'm saying? Because on Thursday, I want you to come in here, Steven, you say something like that, because if I was giving a political strategy to her, you know what I'm saying, there would be other voices who giving opinions that she would have to take an opinion. I don't think she would do better running against Cruz than against Cronin. I don't think so. My strategy would be, and to me, any political strategy for Jasmine Crockett running a statewide election in the state of Texas, where you're looking at over 30%, well over 30% of the population is black and brown. I don't want to run against Ted Cruz. I don't want to run against a senator who is goated. He's serving 6 terms. How long Ted Cruz been the senator in the state of Texas? I ain't got to look it up. He done served at least 3 terms, right? So he working on 18 years in the Senate. That man goated in the state of Texas, number one. I'm not saying Cronin ain't either, because he is too. He goated in the state of Texas. It's different with Cronin. Cronin is an old man. Ted Cruz ain't an old man. Not like that. Ted Cruz still got youth in him. That's number one. Number two, well, number one is that Ted Cruz is a Hispanic. Ted Cronin is not no Hispanic. Cronin is a white man. He a all the way white man, and he a old white man. That's who, look, his numbers look better than Paxton. I heard Jazzy say she do better against Paxton than Cronin. You see what I'm saying? But I wouldn't care to run against Paxton or Cronin. President Trump gonna come down, especially for Paxton. You see what I'm saying? And the way we run a Jazzy campaign, I would want President Trump down there. I wouldn't be saying President Trump's name all the time, because I'm gonna be getting some of his voters to vote for Jazzy. So I wouldn't be saying his name. I'll be talking about Mike Johnson and the problems in America and affordability. I wouldn't be saying President Trump's name all the time, because due to his popularity. But saying that I would want to run that campaign, sir, I would not want to run that campaign, not the way I'm going to run it against Ted Cruz. The majority of my voters are in Houston, Dallas-Fort Worth, and Austin. On Thursday, I'm going to give you the exact numbers. I think in Houston, bro, over 60, almost 70% of the population is black or brown. That's the largest metropolitan. Well, it's the second largest metropolitan in Texas. It's a good chunk, almost 25% of the election in Houston, and 70% of them black or brown. I wouldn't want to run against Ted Cruz in Houston. I want to run against a white man, preferably a racist white man. I'm going to chart the base. I'm going to find, look, bro, Jasmine, I'll get you elected. I will. Because not only you looking at the black and brown people, so we looking at the black and brown, your number's so big in Houston. I think in Austin, it was a little under 50% or something for Hispanics and blacks. And I think in Fort Worth, it was a little bit over 50% for blacks and Hispanics. And you could throw in Asians too, because they got large Asian populations too. And you know, you could pull them too. 8% of the 8.4% of the population in the 2020 census in Austin was Asian. Oh yeah, I just looked at them numbers today and I remember that's what you're gonna get if you give me 8.4% of the Asian so you could get them numbers. So if I look at the numbers, I don't want to run against Ted Cruz. I want to run against a racist white man. Because I'm gonna run their margins up in Houston. In Houston, I want to win the vote. I want to blow them out I want to dust. I'm talking about dust. 40 points in Houston. In Dallas, Fort Worth, I want probably about 15 to 30 points. And in Austin, I want to beat them by 10. To me, Austin, how she does in Austin to determine how she do across the state, she's got to do good with white people to win. Because still in all, you only get 65% of the population in those three centers, and she's not going to win 100% of the vote. You see what I'm saying? The margins matter. And those three population centers, another thing is Texas is such a big state, so you got to run across all of Texas. So you picking your locations and where you going to run at, that matters. You can't be wasting time out in communities with 5,000 people and 500 voters, unless they got a whole lot of money and you need that money. But you got to spend your time where the voters at that you can convince and that you could get to come out and vote for you. And I just think like Ted Cruz, another thing is volunteers. So if you get the Democrats going to already be kind of charged up, so you probably won't have that much problem getting volunteers, number one. Number two, she's a really popular, really popular person for Congress. But you got the right dude, though, Jazzy, because I'm used to artists. You know what I'm saying? And she got an appeal almost like an artist. You could promote her almost like an artist. You know what I'm saying? I'll probably get, one of them music people or somebody, maybe not music, maybe in Hollywood or somebody like that to help me on my campaign with her imaging. Because I think if you image her right, she's got an appeal, a national appeal. The girl, a rock star. So I would image her correctly to where she can get that rock star appeal. That's what happened with Obama. Yeah, baby rock star. Obama, you promoting them right. You know what I'm saying? They came out right with Obama. That boy talking about being president. He talked like he talk and walk and look like he look. And people looked at him and they could see a president in him. And look what happened. I'm talking about, I want her to do rallies in Austin and have 15,000 people there. Like, but I'm talking about why wouldn't I not try to run her campaign like she running for president in a national election? You talking about 30 million people. So this the second or third largest state population. It's the largest in landmass. A growing economy. Texas is so important. The Democrats going to be pumping money into Texas. If they could get Texas, they could to win all the rest of the elections. If they could turn Texas blue, this is their chance. Jazzy, their ticket. Jazzy, the secret. Jazzy, the sauce. Yeah, give us all the money. What other race, Democratic Party? This how I'm talking, Jazzy. If I'm with you or with your people, putting this in their heads so they could be speaking like this. What other race you have in the whole country that's more important than that Senate seat if Jasmine running? If the dude behind Jasmine, Tellerico or whatever his name is running, hey, you got a chance to win with that white boy. A good chance. But he not Jasmine. That's what I'm saying. Democrats across America are already giving Jasmine thousands and thousands. And I hear y'all hating on her Fox News, but that's the game. It ain't no way y'all gonna hate on Jasmine for get money in the game, hustling and grinding. And look at President Trump, all that stuff President Trump up there doing, $400 million jet. And somebody on Fox News talking about Jasmine. She ain't never in Texas. She ain't never see Jasmine. This what you gonna get, bro. I'll be eating them up. I'll be chopping them all up. They ain't none of. I couldn't come on here and represent and do nothing to help President Trump no more if Jasmine hired me. I couldn't do nothing to help no Republican. Y'all the biggest ops. Real talk. I wouldn't be aiming at no Republicans outside of Texas, really. Besides Speaker Johnson, I love you, my brother, but hey, the game. But I'm saying though, I'll be aiming at them Texas Republicans though. Besides Senator Cruz, I don't see it. Ain't to me. Senator Cruz is kind of like a fixture of Texas. You just gonna be split. She gonna turn it purple. You're not gonna get both of them seats. Texas ain't that blue. And Texas got a lot of Latinas that vote Republican too. And Ted Cruz is the reason for that. You don't want to run against Senator Cruz. Colin Aldridge just got close. I don't know, but you ain't, yeah, better or worried. The only way you gonna get in it is if Jasmine don't run. You might have a shot this time if you could get Tellerico. I'm saying if Jasmine get in at that Democratic primary, I didn't even write strategy for a Democratic primary. That's how almost sure I am that the Democratic Party, they gonna speak on that. Jasmine is the ticket. Don't get that confused. Jasmine's love for the poor and her love for marginalized people is the reason why I love her so much. And is the reason why America loves her so much. The people who do, the civil rights people. But don't get that confused though. Baby girl, a rock star. That's what she is. She just got to be in the right hands. She a rock star. I'm just telling y'all straight up. As a politician, I'm saying I wouldn't, if she was singing music, listen to me. I know what I'm talking about. If she was singing music like Mary J. Blige, you wouldn't be, if you had to promote her and she was Mary J. Blige or Faith Evans or Keisha Cole, a black soul singer, you wouldn't be happy to promote that? I'll be ecstatic. She a gorgeous woman, bruh. She speaks very well, clear, clean, clear English. She's strong-minded. She ain't scared to go toe-to-toe with nobody. She a prime candidate. I mean, she could be Mandami like if you work with her. Real, you talking to somebody who know what they doing, know what they talking about. I just don't have the experience, but I know. I got all of the knowledge. Y'all who listen to me, y'all know I got all of the knowledge. The experience. I had to get experience litigating. And since I did, as a paralegal, not even an attorney, how good am I? I just don't have the money or the resources to be able to do this, but she gonna have the money and the resources, and we gonna raise the rest of it. Raising $100 million, Jazzy, and if you get in that race, raising $100 million is not gonna be hard. Them Democratic, I'm talking about you gonna get donors coming from New York and Cali. She done been all them places. They know her. Why wouldn't they support her? Especially if you sell it to them that Texas, you don't really have to sell it to them. The Republicans already know. They having a national convention down in Houston in 2028. The Texas is so important that you turn Texas purple and get at least one of them seats. So you sell that to the DNC. The DNC gonna be pouring in money, number one, and number two is Jazzy. The what? That's like AOC. How you ain't gonna get this AOC? Let me get on AOC campaign and start talking to the DNC. Bro, what? What your budget? If I was on out, bro, you don't know. Y'all don't know Ghost. What your budget is? What? What this do to your 2026 midterm budget? What's your whole budget? If I was on AOC, if I was AOC campaign manager, oh what? Oh, the DNC budget is $436 million for the midterms. That's how much we got to give to the candidates. I want 20% of your budget if I was on AO. Yeah. If I want your budget. You telling this Jasmine. You know what I'm saying? This ain't just no Tellerico or some other person, Beta O'Rourke running, where you gonna just give them 1,000 or well, they probably ain't gonna do them like that. They'll probably get census in Texas about 25, 50,000. However much the DNC feel like they need to give them. That's an important race though. They might give them a little money. But I'm saying I got Jasmine. If I got Jasmine, y'all coming with it. If I had Jasmine, bro, I'll do it. I'll do that political campaign in a way you ain't never understood or seen it before. I will get her sponsors, business sponsors. I'll do it in a way Bernie Sanders wouldn't be upset with it. Instead of getting donations from the business, I'll get a sponsorship with her. Yeah. Like she a tennis player, like she's Serena Williams. I have T-Mobile sponsoring her. Well, stuff y'all ain't never seen before. I don't even know how legal that is, but I'll make it legal. Yeah, have regular businesses like that who put money, dumping money into it. Besides just in politics, because you're going to have business donors too. You're going to have businesses that donate. But one of the first things I didn't put this in what we're going to do on Thursday, but I will unite the whole black community in Houston. All black business owners in the city of Houston. Jasmine will go visit every major business owner in Houston, Dallas, and in Austin and the surrounding areas. I would be doing that stuff right now. I would be raising that money right now. I don't know if she started her campaign. I open up campaign offices in Austin, Houston, and Dallas immediately. And I'll start staffing them immediately. I don't even know if she got her campaign set up. She might not even have a bank account. Well, she should. She should. I don't, but I'm saying I'll be on this immediately. November the time is ticking. It's less than a year away. And my whole focus will be the general. If you focus on the general, you gotta run a primary anyway. You know what I'm saying? And the primary, she could just be who she is. She ain't really got to change much or nothing. It's a Democratic primary. Just get in there and dog on President Trump and tell people about affordability and dog on President Trump. Whichever one could dog on President Trump the hardest and talk about affordability the most is a shoo-in for a Democratic primary. So she already be dogging on President Trump hard. She known for that. And she talks about, we just get her talking about affordability in the primary. She shouldn't have no problem in the Democratic primary. My focus would be on making her become a senator on that general election. So I really appreciate that comment. I would definitely not rather run against Ted Cruz, though. Just my strategy. I need those black and brown voters, and Texas is a brown voter. So, Cruz is a brown voter. So I wouldn't want that kind of competition. Ty says, blood for blood, Fuentes is an idiot. Yes, indeed. He just got attention. The left hates him, but he has no common sense, just shock value. I agree with that 1,000%. I don't know if I'm on the left or not. I don't hate you, Nick Fuentes, but I just think you got some problems. I think you are an enigma to the American culture and society. Real talk. You know what I'm saying? Look, if people said what they said about Charlie Kirk, and said that Charlie Kirk said some things and had some positions and views that he shouldn't have had. I'm saying Nick Fuentes, in my opinion, he way worse than Charlie Kirk is. You know what I'm saying? How much he be hating on Jews and stuff, bro. Like, I mean, people, all they talk about is Israel. That's all I hear them talk about. Israel this, Israel that. I want to keep adjusting my shirt. My shirt look like that. Y'all think I'm that fat. I know I'm fat, but I ain't that fat. Golly. I hear you. You know, I don't care, though. For real, though. For real. Hey, look, though, but all they talk about, man, is Israel. Golly, bro, I promise you, you got so many people hating on Israel. And Nick Fuentes, he got a problem with Jews. Like, he Adolf Hitler, his hero. I'm saying, I don't even know a dude. How you know he a Jew if he ain't got something on his head? I see a white dude. A white dude is a white dude. I don't know if he Jewish, Italian, if he French, or if he Canadian. Ain't nobody care. Who cares? But like Nick Fuentes, he cares. He hate Jews. What, like a Jew did something to him? A Jew ain't never did nothing to me. But a Jew has done something for me before. A Jew has died on the cross for my sins and saved my soul from hell. A Jew has done that. That's how I feel about Israel. A Jew ain't never done nothing against me, but I do know a Jew named Jesus who shed his blood for me, a Hebrew named Jesus. He wasn't a Jew. He was a Hebrew. He was a Jew. He was a Hebrew named Jesus. He shed his blood for me. You know what I'm saying? So all that Jew hatred and all that other stuff and Israel hatred and stuff, Nick Fuentes, any kind of hatred, bro, we don't need that in our society, in our culture, in our nation. Who cares if you don't like a certain group of people or a certain segment of people? Nobody cares. Keep it to yourself. Oh, the white people, I don't like the whites. Oh, the blacks are doing this and the blacks are the problem. Oh, I don't like the Jews, it's the Jews. No, for real, you know, the people in China, they're okay, but the Chinaman in America, the Chinaman is the problem. It's the problem. He always breaking up groups of people by their race and hating on them and saying something is a problem. A person race, it ain't a person race. It don't matter what race somebody is when they do something, you idiot. You think it matter a race? It don't matter the race. It matter that person and the discernment and the decisions that they make in that one person. It don't matter that President Trump is white. No decision he made matter because he white. It don't matter because President Obama was black. Ain't no decision he made got nothing to do with him being black. It's got something to do with his policies and his discernment and his decision-making ability. And that's how I'm going to judge you. President Trump was good friends with Jeffrey Epstein. You can't hate on a Democrat for talking about that. That's President Trump's decision to be friends with Jeffrey. You feel me? That was President Trump's decision. You feel me? But I'm saying I'm not, unless you've got proof that President Trump did something with a child, I'm not finna sit up here and talk about that. I'm talking about policy, discernment, and his decision-making ability. That's what being a president is about. Policy, discernment, and decision-making ability. It ain't got nothing to do with what he do on Friday night. I don't care what President Trump and Speaker Johnson and Pete Hegseth and Marco and JD doing on Friday night. Oh, we saw them down at the casino. They supposed to be working on national secrets. They were down at this casino like the common man trying to gamble and get some more money. I don't care what they doing in their personal time. I'm a political James Carville. I'm talking about political strategy. I'm talking about how you get power. You don't get power by talking about all this nonsense and this stuff that don't matter, man. I care about what the American voters care about, and that's when I'm going to talk to you, Jasmine. That's what I'm going to talk to you about, baby, what the American voters care about. I ain't going to talk about all this other stuff is irrelevant. I don't want to talk about nothing that the American voters don't care about. Talk about what the voters care about. what they gonna vote on, and we gonna win I'll win every election. I'd never be on nobody campaign and lose an election. Never. Not in my life. Never. I wouldn't take the job. If a congressperson and a senator came to me and I looked at everything and thought they couldn't win, I wouldn't take the job. Jasmine, I ain't never had to look at a number to know that you will win, baby. And I know this is your life and this is your future and this is your career and you want to see the numbers and make the right decision and you care about your constituents. I'm aware of all that, Jasmine, but I ain't never had to look at one number to know that you could win that election in Texas. You in Texas. Yes. Never looked at one number to know you could win. So her saying she wanted to run for Senate, say no more. We got ghosts. We gonna get on that. We gonna talk about Jasmine all the way to the election. And hopefully, shoot, if I can't work for her, at least I could get an interview. You know what I'm saying? But I need to work. You need to call Jazz. You need to call me. I need to give you about 50 pieces of paper every Sunday night. That's all you need from me, about 50 pieces of paper every Sunday night. And whatever's on them 50 pieces of paper every Sunday until election time is going to help you get elected. Monday through Saturday, y'all do y'all thing, and you just give me a certain amount of information I'm looking for, and then on Sunday night, I'm going to give you about 50 pieces of paper. And that's my whole job. It's just responding off of data and information she giving me. A political strategy. I know the number of boots that she needs to mobilize. I'm going to know the number of voters that she need to turn out to the polls. Every number there is to know, I'm going to know every number. And there's variations of the number. A Democratic strategist might give you numbers looking a certain way. A Republican strategist, but Ghost going to give you precisely on the dot. Ask the people who I did business promotions for. I'm telling y'all, before I did this on Everything I Love, I could prove this. Before I did the business promotion for the person, 3T's Mobile Detailing. He's one of them I did it for. Tread Safe Tires. That's a business I did it for. Before I did the promotion with them, I told them, I said, look, week 1, you're going to get 17 phone calls or 17 customers. Week 2, you're going to get 21 customers. Week 3, you're going to get 27 customers. Go ask them how close I was on the number. Spot on. I was under or spot on every time. Yeah, boy, that's what ghosts do. I'm a numbers dude. If you don't know, you're going to find out soon. What Biggie say? If you don't know, now you know. Trump the greatest. Somebody said President T was the greatest. Greetings from Tijuana, Mexico. Somebody down there in Tijuana. Don't let the cartel get a hold of you listening to Ghostwriter down there. Hey, they not that strong with 15,000 sailors and Marines down there in the Caribbean, though. President Trump got them boys watching over their shoulder. Real talk. So I guess you should just stand on all 10 against the cartel right now down in Tijuana. Somebody said it's not your vote. You voted for Biden or Trump. You're not an idiot. You just misinformed. Man, Jasmine, you see what that person said? Like, y'all, I know she ain't on the stream. I'm just saying though, if I wanted that'd be the worst thing that I could ever hear someone say about a candidate that I represented, what they just said. Because that person is saying that they're somewhat affiliated, or should I say participating in the political process in America. They haven't walked all the way from the political process. They're still in tune with it. And they're saying it's not your fault you voted for Biden or Trump. Either one of them. If I was a politician, I wouldn't want you saying that. I want you to say it's not your fault you voted for Biden, or it's not my fault or your fault you voted for Trump. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. If I work for a politician, all that independent stuff in the middle stuff, that will go out the window. If it's just one election, say if I work for Jasmine on one election, and then after her election, what do I do? Do I still be connected with her? Do you still work with her? She gonna keep you there, you advising and strategy? Because she gonna go to a higher eventually? Or do you move on? And do you just work for the Democratic Party? Just Democratic strategists? I'm saying I don't think I'll change my ideals or what I believe is right or wrong ever. I don't think working for Jasmine would change that, but it definitely would make me to where, like, I wouldn't be fond of any Republicans while she was giving me money. That's for sure. You won't hear me saying anything positive about no Republicans if I was on the payroll for a Democrat. That's for sure. But you know what I'm saying? I don't see myself hating the Republicans. I could never support transgender rights. Never. I could never support two men getting married. I can't support that. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm a political strategist. The people ain't gonna hear or see me anyway. But that candidate will, Jasmine will. I'll let her know though. I don't support two men getting married, baby. You know what I'm saying? And I know the state of Texas, for the majority part, don't support that. So maybe we just should try to avoid talking about, we won't promote gay rights. You don't, any Democrat, that's the wrong with the Democratic Party. You can't promote no gay rights and no transgender rights running no general election in the state of Texas. As a Democrat, we know you for two men getting married. We know you for letting, as a Democrat, we know you for letting kids have, or whoever have sex changes. But what I'm saying is you can't go around promoting that. You know how VP Harris was promoting letting two men get married and abortion, a big abortion thing, big abortion. She was big abortion, like, you know, because, but I'm saying, like, that ain't going to fly in Texas. I mean, I think it's other reasons that got to do with her losing the elections besides her promoting abortion and gay rights and transgender rights nationally. But in Texas, though, that any abort, we know, Jasmine, you for two gays getting married, but I'm saying the majority of the state of Texas is not. That's just facts. So that's just something I wouldn't promote it. I would never mention it. Maybe if I was in a place where it was all Democrats and I felt safe, but you know, they playing everything you say when you in a general election, they playing what you're saying. So I'm saying, but I just wouldn't be going around saying nothing about no gay rights or nothing about trans in Texas. It just don't play well in Texas. It plays well in Los Angeles. It plays well in San Francisco. It might play well downtown in some places in Houston. Or it definitely plays well in Austin. It plays well in, see how I could pick my spots. But in Fort Worth, or even in Dallas even, I don't think that plays well. I never looked that number, but I've stayed in these places. I can't tell you how many times I've been to Dallas, Austin, or I lived in Houston. I've been to Austin over 70 times. I never lived there, but I used to drive from Houston to office literally over 70 times. I've stayed in Austin for months at a time. So I know the people, the customs. I'm saying, like, I know a lot about Texas, the state of Texas. We the people, the first We the People was all over Texas. I spent 3 months in Texas this year. I talked to over 100 voters in Texas, easily, with the camera out trying to record them. Over 100, asking them questions. I'm telling you, I boots on the ground, I know what I'm talking about. And I just wouldn't promote those moral democratic issues, I wouldn't promote that. Look, a Republican or a Democrat could be for taxing the rich. That might sound strange to you, but the populist message, things are changing. That's why I say Steve Bannon sound a lot like Bernie Sanders with your eyes closed these days. Okay? A Republican could get on board with you for saying that you forgiving a $25,000 check to first-time home buyers. Even though that's not really a Republican thing, a Republican could get on board. But I'm saying a lot of people who are solid Republicans, they're not going to be for two men get married. It's hard to get on board with you. You talking about two men get married. You talking about giving $5 to Elon or $5 to the homeless man. You see what I'm saying? Like, Republicans don't want to give the money to the homeless man, but Jasmine do. But the Republicans want to give the $5 to Elon. You see, it's easy to persuade someone on something like that. But persuading someone that it's okay for two men to get married, that's going to make them vote against you. In certain situations, that'll make them forget all economic policies and vote against you. I wouldn't be out there saying that transgenders need to allow their children to have sex changes. That's good, especially in Texas. That's suicide. You are going to give people who wasn't even going to vote, who ain't even thinking about vote. Oh, this little black girl, that you going to give these little racist white, you going to give them a reason. I'm telling you. And if you have a Democrat running your campaign, he not going to tell you stuff Ghost going to tell you. I'm just telling you. I'm not saying she not going to win. Texas is a tough bet. She should win. But if you got the wrong person running your campaign, she could easily lose too. If you got the wrong person running your campaign. A Democratic strategist is not going to tell you certain things because he's a Democrat. But Ghost going to tell you exactly what it is, baby. Nah, we ain't going to talk about it. You see all that over there? If I was in the crowd with her at the rally, I'll point it out. That whole section, they care enough and they curious enough to come out here with their white self, their white redneck self. And I got a 1,500 rednecks at her rally. That's how Ghost would. That's the rednecks. They'll be in Texas. They'll be curious. The campaign I run, they'll be curious. They'll be showing up at her rallies. You got 1,500 Trump supporting redneck deer hunting. They over there in that section, Jasmine. We ain't gonna talk about no transgenders. Not today, because the campaign I'm running, I think I could get at least 500 of them to show up at the polls. Yeah, Jasmine, they look at you and they like what they see. You're a beautiful woman. And you talk good. You just got to talk to their problems. Yeah, as a senator in the state of Texas, you represent 3 million people. You represent the rednecks too. You represent the white people too. You represent the Trump supporters too. You got to represent all 30 million of them people. We know you black and we know you got us. And that's why we love you. And we know you always going to have us and we always going to love you. But I'm saying you running for that position in Texas, you represent 30 million people. So you're going to have to represent the redneck Trump supporters who don't even like black people. You're going to have to speak a language to them, to certain kind of voters. In her speech, if I was working with her, the train of thought I would put in her, it would influence her in certain ways to where even when she's speaking to a rally, there at certain times, she would be speaking to that redneck Trump supporter. In her words, she'd be speaking to him. Ghost is that good. He trill. She don't even recognize it. She just doing the rally and the speech what she heard me say she think is right. But she wouldn't realize that some of that stuff I'm telling her, she's speaking to them white boys, rednecks. She's speaking to their concerns and their issues. You know what I'm saying? Say if their concern was a fishing license or a fishing regulations, you got to speak to some of their issues. You represent them too. I'm telling y'all, it'll be a campaign. Y'all ain't never seen it before. Nationwide, they all will come model their campaign like hers. I promise you, because I think outside the box.
I'm not going to do it like how I'm not going to draw in the lines like everybody else. I'm going to draw my own lines that's going to be more efficient than the lines they drew. That's how big ghosts get down. I don't litigate like them lawyers do. I got my own style. My litigation style, I'm not going to lose. I might lose this case, but I'm going to get paid still. That's why I told the judge in Austin, I put that on my mom. I'll lose this case, sir, but I'm going to still get paid. And he dismissed the case. He sure did dismiss the case the second time. But I got paid. And I won in the U.S. Court of Appeals because he dismissed it. But I told him, I don't know, like, you got the power. I don't have the power. You got the power, obviously. This is your courtroom. You could do whatever you want to. And you could dismiss this case, but I'm going to still get paid because I believe in God, and I believe God is going to bless me. So God don't need no judge to bless me. You just got the case, sir. This your job. God don't need a judge to bless me. I believe God's trying to bless me. So you could dismiss whatever you want to. I'm going to still get paid. He dismissed the case and I still got paid. I put this my right hand to God on everything I love. He dismissed that case and I still got paid. And won an appeal in the U.S. Court of Appeals. That's how ghosts get down. It's just I'm new at this, so my star hadn't been born. You feel me? I'm new at this, so my star hadn't been born. But I promise you, Jazzy, you wouldn't win an election. Ask Johnny Dupree. I started promoting for that dude on Facebook. I think the voting block was like 15,000 or less. So I could promote to 15,000 people myself. You see what I'm saying? And so, after I promoted to him, that won his primary like 92, 93% to 7 or 8. How much you was expecting to win, Johnny Dupree? Probably about 30 or 40 points. He was against a white dude. He was expecting to win by 40. He won by like 90, 85 points. He won by 82.83 points. You feel me? You feel me? Yeah, he was expecting to win by 30 or 40. He told me, his name Johnny Dupree. You could go ask him. He the former mayor of Hattiesburg, Mississippi. He ran for the 4th Congressional District back in 2022 when I started my business that summer. He told Ghost he wanted me to run his campaign on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. But he had a campaign manager. He wasn't from the coast. He had a campaign manager. He was from a neighboring city up north. His campaign manager gonna run his whole but he wanted me to run his campaign down. And I told him I had to get paid, but he said the DNC was only giving him like, what was it, $100, $1,000, something like that. He said the DNC wasn't really giving him nothing. Well, Mr. Dupree, we gotta raise money. I had to plan for the man and everything. Small black businesses. Every small black business in Mississippi, I was going to run them through there. Not asking for money either. So when the campaign started, because he had easy work with his competitor in his primary, so while the Republicans were finna do a runoff, like Paxton and Cronin finna have to do a runoff, during that time, I'm going to use that time to get Jasmine. She going to be 10 steps ahead of them. So when we start doing our rallies, bro, you already got your network of support. I was going to build his network of support in ways that campaign manager he hired didn't do because he lost that race by 30 or 40 points trying to run a conventional race in the state of Mississippi as a Democrat, as a black Democrat in a Republican district that you outnumbering Democrats 4-2. He in a Republican district outnumbered by Democrats 4-2, and he come in there with a regular Democratic campaign manager. I'm not a campaign manager. I'm a strategist. It's a big difference. She gonna have a campaign manager, not me. I'm a James Carville. You ain't even gonna see me. I might not even be in the building, none of the buildings. Strategy. It's a huge difference. But he got a white campaign manager. His campaign, young campaign manager, just not too long out of college. Probably graduated from a good school. He got experience. I'm a campaign manager, and got mollywopped. I promise if Ghost would have lost that race, it would have been within the margin of error. And I didn't need a lot of money. I was only trying to raise like 100,000. His opponent had millions. I only needed 100,000. Because there's certain counties in Mississippi that's primarily black. Mississippi like 40% black. You got, if he wasn't running a statewide race, but if you run a statewide race in Mississippi, 40% of the electorate is black. All you need to win is 10% of white people. They don't look at stuff. They don't be look. I don't know what they be looking, but he lost, man. He lost bad. He asking me to be a campaign. I can't work for you for free, bro. Real time, that's when I first was starting the Miller Rate Legal. I wasn't disabled at the time getting disability. I had to go punch it. I can't work for you for free. I can't work for Jasmine for free. I'll do the podcast for free where you could get some information. But the information she and the strategy she need to win that race, I need to be on the team. Pulling 24-hour shifts. Because that's what Ghost to do, Jazzy. If I work for you, I work 22 hours a day in this car, in a room, in anywhere to assure that you win. The first thing I'll do I'll be smoking back to Texas. And I go set up in Austin. You need a think tank. Look, you might hear my mama and them say a whole lot of things about me, but one thing you rarely gonna hear them say is somebody out thinking they son, my mama and daddy. Not too many humans on this earth outthink they son, and they know that. Not too many. I ain't say none, do not too many. You need that brain. I'm telling you. Jasmine will be the first female senator in the state of Texas. One phone call. I'll put that on everything I love. I know it for a fact. On Thursday, 6:30 a.m., Jasmine for Texas. That's our first episode. So y'all come check out the content on Thursday, 6:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Jasmine for Texas, man. I'm going to get political strategy live. I'm going to start off by laying the groundwork live. And it's only on the general election. You know what I'm saying? And y'all judge for yourself the strategy that I give. You know, I feel like a lot of candidates could use this. Judge for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not really, I'm using numbers and everything. I did research and everything. But I would go ahead, if I was you, Jasmine, I would go ahead and even if you don't have the campaign set up yet, I'll go ahead and just be looking for Bill. Jasmine, you want me to do it for you, baby? I'll be looking for campaign offices in Austin and Dallas and Houston. Those three areas. You don't have to get a campaign office throughout a whole state. You're not running for governor. It's $100 million race. And you got a lot of ways you probably want to spend that $100 million, but I would start off there. And I wouldn't have to fully staff it, but I would get somebody on the phone who could answer the phone right now today, if I was her, in Houston, in Austin, and Dallas. That's the first thing I would do. And the second thing I would do is pick up the phone and call Ghost. Because I'm coming through, baby, and I'm going to tell you what we need to do. And the people that know me, I'll be doing most of the stuff myself. She gonna hire people to do the work, but I'll be doing it myself. I wouldn't wait for them to do the work. I'm gonna do it because I know I'm gonna do it faster and better than them. I don't care what it is, because you're gonna need a whole lot of volunteers. I'm talking 20. I want 20,000 volunteers plus 20,000. Ain't no way you getting 20. Shoot, how them 17, 18-year-olds, they going to be volunteering. 16 and 15-year-olds, they going to be volunteering. They only got me volunteer one day out the week to be part of the numbers, but I want to be strong. I want that campaign strong like that. I want it strong. You know what I'm saying? A lot of my volunteers are like, the small number of volunteers, Houston, Austin, and Dallas, I want a lot of volunteers out there in the rural areas. Because you're not going to be spending a lot of time out there. You need humans on the ground connected with the community. So when you speak to Texas, you need to speak to Texas. You need to have people parakeeting what you're saying all over Texas. Bro, they have pictures of Jasmine. Bro, it'll be a campaign like y'all never seen it. They have T-shirts with Jasmine's picture on it. We see that all the time in campaigns. It won't be like, it would be they'll be fashion. It'll be very fashionable, like high fashion. She'll run a campaign in Texas like y'all the world ain't never seen. Real talk. Rock star. Bro, I'll try to run that campaign so good. I have people telling her to run for president in 2028. I'll be running your campaign so good, Jazzy. I have people telling you to run for president in 2028. I'm trying to tell you what I know. Y'all, we've been riding with Ghostwriter, man, for almost 3 hours. Sodom and Gore. Smashly. We perfect for each other. We ain't. Why you gonna somebody say, well, lucky man. Yes, she do. She got it. For real. Should you not use big words? Are they difficult for you to understand, Smashly? Smashly, big words? Nah, I can understand big words. It's way higher than you, Smash. Hey, Smashly, my IQ higher than your lawyers and your doctors. You know what I'm saying? I need to use words. Back in my college days and paralegal days, why I'm gonna use big words if people don't understand what I'm saying? Why I'm gonna do that? Talk dumb so you can understand me. What I learned in life, when I used to talk educated using big words, when I used to talk like that, a lot of time people, like when you finish a sentence or something like that, people be looking at you. They'll understand kind of what you're saying a little bit, but they kind of understand looking at you like, because some words you use, they too big, they got to catch them. And some people got too much pride. They're not going to stop and say what that means. They just going to shake their head like they understand. But people weren't getting my points. They weren't getting what I meant when I was talking like that. So I started talking dumb and stupid. And talking dumb and stupid, that's why people, y'all see, because I got the I don't want to say education. I got 69 college credits, but a lot of people got more than that. Jasmine probably got more college credits than that. But I'm saying I got the intelligence to where I don't have to try to talk smart. I am smart. I mean, I say that humbly. The people that know me, they know that. They get mad when I say I'm smart because they know I'm smart. They don't want me saying it. But I don't have to try to talk smart because I know what I am. And it's like when I talk stupid, even when you use curse words, people understand violence more than they do anything else. They'll understand violence is the language that a human being understands more than anything else. Person is as close to verbal violence as you'll get. A curse word. That's as violent you gonna get with a word. When you curse, people understand that. Start cursing at your kids. Whatever going on, I'm telling you, they gonna get the. But if you sit there and say, I'm trying to think of some words because I just put them out my vocabulary. But if you're trying to sit there and say, oh, y'all went down using big words, that's what you sound like. Even me, I know all the words. You could put the smartest person on the TV. He could be talking about brain surgery and I understand what he's talking about. I don't know how, but I will. So he's saying all these smart big words. I understand them, but still I got to slow down a little bit to catch the words. You know what I'm saying? He used this word and I got to slow down and run it back in the context. Oh, that's what that means. I don't want to do that. I didn't want to do that. When I'm arguing, when I do legal documents, I use legal words. I'm a writer. If I was writing a romance document, I use romance words. If I was writing a document about food, I'll talk like the cooks. Talking politics, I talk that they can to be. That's why I find my clear people clear. They weren't understanding me because my language was my words too. They weren't, so I had to start talking stupid. I had to dumb my words down. That way I could be clear. Nick Fuentes, when I say you an idiot, if I start Nick Fuentes, if I start with a language and you know I'm using all these other words, he don't really understand what I'm saying. He got to put it together, and it's going to take him 9 months to figure out. I'm trying to say he an idiot. Ghost trying to say I'm an idiot. That's the reason. Some people, when you go up to them and talk to them, what they saying to you, they telling you they don't like you to your face. If you don't know how to manipulate those words, you don't even, a lawyer would tell you he hates you. He could tell you he hates you to your face with a smile and you keep compliment. He got so much power and authority and command over the language, he could use certain words to you and you think he like you, but he's saying that you a guilty piece of crap. You feel me? I learned the command of the words. And one thing I learned about the English language and American people and the use of the English language, I learned that the stupider you sound, the more beneficial you're going to be. You don't believe me? Look at President Trump. You think President Trump just stupid. You think he just a stupid dude. I know a lot of Democrats. If you talk to Adam Mockler, he'll say President Trump. But Ghost, his IQ isn't that high. He's not that smart. That's what they would say about President Trump, that he just stupid. You think President Trump just stupid. He's not a stupid man. But when you talk like that, people could relate to that. They eating the cats and the dogs. They know he playing. Most people know he playing. Some people don't know he playing, but they could relate to they eating the cats and the dogs. When you start talking about GDP and inflation, you talking about stuff they don't understand or they don't know nothing about. It's like they kind of skipping over what you're saying. They hearing you and they digging you. Oh, he talking about GDP and inflation. And they hearing you, but they kind of like skipping over what you. They don't, you know, the majority of Americans do not care about GDP. The vast majority. You see what I'm saying? So when you start talking about stuff like that they don't understand, but when you start saying stuff that you understand, oh, well, then they care about that. They understand how to use language and understand. Unfortunately, even the bad words, people understand the bad words, say a bad word. You could say it to a little kid. Real talk. It's sad though. Say it to a little kid. Even bad words. They understand them. But that's just facts. You know? Okay, Smashley, if that's how you feel, Smashley, you must have a crush on me or something. They down there in the comment section, they making fun of you anyways. Smashley, they making fun of you and you got a crush on me because you hooked on everything I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why, Smashley, like somebody talking about you or got something against you or what's going on, Smashley. I don't know what's going on. But for some reason, you on me hard though, Smashley. I don't know why you on me. Somebody said no, she don't. Do y'all even know what we talking about? Smashley, your girlfriend, ain't she? You said Jasmine don't want anything to do with you, bro. Are you sure about that? I'm saying, who are you? How do you know Jasmine? Jasmine don't know nothing about you, Smashley. Smashley, you just a hater. You just one of my everyday haters. I got a bunch of haters, Smashley. I got a bunch of people just like you that come in here and hate on me all the time for no reason. So Jasmine don't even know you. You don't know Jasmine and you just talking. You know my haters tell me everything. My haters tell me I'm finna lose a case while I'm winning the case. I had just got paid off the case and I had my haters tell me I'm finna lose the case. And I had just got paid off the case. Like, I'm dead serious. I'm for real honest, bro. I had just got, what was that? How did I get that money? It was, I forgot how I got paid that check. I just got paid off the check and somebody told me I wasn't going to get paid off the check. I hate her say everything, anything and everything. I'm saying you can't speak for Jasmine, though. You got a profile picture of a white girl that look like you just come from the meth farm. Hey, then you got a profile picture of a white girl that look like you just come from the meth lab. You don't know nothing about Jasmine, I promise you, and she don't know you either. She said I'm crashing out. Oh no, this ain't crashing out. You ain't seen me crash out, I promise you. If you think this crashing out, you ain't seen me crash out. I promise you. 50,000%. If you think this is crashing out, you have not seen me crash out. You haven't seen me do nothing close to crashing out. And I can assure you that. 100,000%, nothing close to crashing out. You know what I'm saying? When I crash out, I crash out. Crash out. Hey, Smashley, you on here though? You on here kicking it with Ghostwriter? Smashley, you wish you could ride with Ghost. You know what I'm saying, girl? You wish you could ride with Ghostwriter. You wish Ghostwriter wanted to ride with you, Smashley. Real talk. You said we got like 10 in on Saturday and we got more coming today. I don't even know what you talking about. But whatever you got in on Saturday, 10 of them in you got Saturday, congratulations. Whatever it was, though, it wasn't that big of a deal because if I should know exactly what you're talking about if you got 10 in on Saturday. You know what I'm saying? And I have no clue or no idea what you're talking about, Smash. What 10 you got in on Saturday? Oh, you got 10 steaks in on Saturday? Sound like you a bot now. I don't even understand what you're talking about. You cooking steaks and you getting 10 in on Saturday, Smashley? I don't know what you're talking about, baby. Oh yeah, the stupider you sound, the more you get along. People understand stupidity. You see what I'm saying? They don't understand intelligence. Smash it, I could start saying stuff about the law you ain't gonna understand. You don't understand there's certain languages I could speak that you're not gonna understand. There's certain things that I could say that you're not gonna understand, Smash it. But if I talk stupid, everybody understands stupid words. Everybody understand a 3-year-old's language. You feel me? But certain language I could use in here, you ain't gonna have no clue of what I'm talking about. No clue, no idea. Oh, you talking about President Trump? You said he got the reading skills of a 6th grader. Maybe he does. I don't know. But he not a stupid man. Because you got a 6th grader's reading skills. What's that got to do with your intelligence level? That just means that you need to learn to read. Or you didn't get trained to read. That's all that means. That mean nothing, Smashley. You telling me if you sitting across with me at a chessboard, I might not could read, but I could beat you in chess. Does that make sense? You can play chess and not be able to read. Some of the best chess players in the world can't read. What's that mean? Because you can't read. There's plenty of different types of intelligence. You think that reading, because you could read good, everybody in America could read good. That's what's wrong with the country. You got a bunch of people who don't have no sense, though. Because you could read good don't mean you got sense. That just means you got book sense. You could read a book. That don't mean you got any life sense or any political sense or any medical sense or any legal sense, regardless of what field you in. Because you could read a line don't mean nothing. I write lawsuits that you don't even understand the words in. My sister was a valedictorian for UCLA. She said when I start talking that legal stuff, I'll be saying stuff she can't even understand. And you talking about she graduated for UCLA, boy, with honors. Or USC, my bad, with honors. One of them Southern California smart schools. Yeah, man. I don't know what we talking about. You talking about President Trump's a con man, that's y'all's opinion. Everybody got an opinion. Everybody's entitled to an opinion. That's y'all's opinion on him. So somebody in here just being like a little kid, so we just gonna get you on out of here, the little kid stuff. Yeah, nobody said use bad words around children. I just said using those kind of words, people understand those words. You know what I'm saying? I start using legal words, you ain't gonna understand them. But if I start cursing, you gonna understand that clearly. That's all I was saying. Affirmative action degree. See, you just a racist. Man, that's my time, man. You know what I'm saying? What I'm finna say, a lot of y'all need to hear this. Don't leave, nah, you need to hear this. Man, listen, bro. Every single one of us, man, the Bible says that mankind was born into sin. We come out the womb speaking lies full of sin. When you die and you leave this earth, you're going to stand before a living God, and that living God is going to judge you by your actions, your deeds, and what you did on this earth. So that means that you need forgiveness for them sins that you committed. Just like if the police got behind you and they charged you with some kind of crime that you committed, just like the police is charging you with a crime. What I'm trying to tell you today is God is charging you with a crime. Your soul. Your soul is guilty, condemned. Every man has sinned. God said all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. If you sin before, that means you need forgiveness. And if you need forgiveness, that means you need to go to God and ask God to forgive your soul from hell. And if you never done that before, then that means that you are still guilty. And when you die, your soul will go to a spiritual jail that we call hell, Hades, whatever you want to call it. Your soul will go to a spiritual jail unless you give forgiveness. When you die and you go to that next world, you're going to stand before judge, before a God. Yeah, just like you would have done in America. You're going to get judged. You're going to stand in heaven's courtroom before heaven's judge, and that's God, and you're going to give an account of your life and the things you did with your life while you was on this earth. That's coming when you die. 10,000%, 100,000%, 1,000,000%. So we need a Savior. We need forgiveness. The good news, the gospel is that Jesus Christ came to this earth to suffer, bleed, and die on the cross for your sins. The blood that Jesus shed on the cross is the payment and it's forgiveness for your sins. All you got to do is go to a quiet room and get on your knees and pray. That's simple. And ask God to forgive you of the sins that you committed. Tell God that you're sorry for your sins and that you understand and accept Jesus' sacrifice. Jesus' death on the cross is payment for your sins. And that you believe. You got to be sincere and you got to believe this, man. You got to believe that Jesus will save you. If you don't believe, he will never save you. And you got to believe that he will save your soul from hell. And that's how you get salvation. That is salvation. After he has saved you, after he has forgiven you, after you've been washed in the blood of Jesus, then you're going to strive to live like Jesus and strive to live a life of perfection. That's what being a Christian is. But good works will not save you. You don't go to heaven by doing good works. Why did Jesus die? If all you got to do is do some good works to go to heaven, then why would Jesus have to come to the earth and go through what he went through? Because he didn't want to go through. He said he prayed and asked God to remove this cup from me. Am I right or wrong? So at a point, even Jesus didn't want to walk through what he had to walk through, and he was God. So I'm saying, why would God have to come to this earth to suffer, bleed, and die on the cross for our sins if we could just be forgiven by doing good works? Jesus died for nothing. You cannot be forgiven by doing good works. You can be forgiven by getting baptized. You cannot be forgiven of your sins by doing anything but accepting the blood of Jesus Christ. Jesus paid the cross for your sins. With a sincere heart, after you asked him, and you've asked for forgiveness of your sins, and you believe in your heart that he saved you, that is complete salvation. That's how you get saved. I wake up every single day. You know what I'm saying? Every single day, man, I see people like Derek every day. I see more people like Derek than most people see. I see haters, people who just speaking against you, going against you for no reason, like all kind of stuff. I see it every day. I don't pay no attention to it. Every single day I wake up and every single day I say the same thing. This is the day the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. That being said, man, that's my time, man. Smashly, if you want to keep talking and having fun, you could donate to the channel, man. I've been streaming for 3 hours and 20 minutes. You know what I'm saying? And the people who donated, they done came, got the content, and got on down. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to donate to the channel, like, I'll keep on streaming. But if you don't want to donate, you ain't really talking about nothing. She said I'm crashing out. She don't even know what crashing out is. So where she heard some black dudes using a rap song, and she just on here saying crashing out. She don't know what crashing out is. Somebody say, what page in your Bible does it say Jesus love you? I'm going to get you out the stream because we don't do that. I don't play the games with God. You know what I'm saying? We could play any kind of games. We don't do it with God, though. Nothing to do with God. John 15:9, as the Father loved me, I too have loved thee. Remain in my love. Yeah, I understand that, but he already know that the Bible say that Jesus love you. He just on here being stupid. I'm not even gonna entertain them when they playing with God. You need to get saved from hell. That's not no game. So I can't play no games with you when I'm telling you you need to get saved, because when you die and go to hell, that's not gonna be funny. That's gonna be real and serious. So when I tell you about Jesus, I'm not joking or playing. So if you come back with some joke or playing kind of comment, I'm not going to respond to you, because that's not no time for joking and playing. What, Ashley? To Smashly. Smashly. Joe, I understand that. Smashly, I'm not going to get rid of you. I'm just going to put you in timeout. You could come back tomorrow. Hey, Smashly, baby. I'll see you in the morning. Or not in the morning, you got to come back in 24 hours. Shoot, I shouldn't have did 24 hours. So I could have had her in here at 6:30 a.m., man. Golly, now she can't come back till 9:30 tomorrow. Eastern. She probably Central. I'll probably be off by that time tomorrow. I probably ain't streaming for 3 hours tomorrow. Smashly, I'll see you tomorrow, baby. Or on Thursday. Come in here on Thursday and tell me Jasmine don't want nothing to do with me. Oh, man. Man's free will is destroying this earth. Yes, it is. That's somebody who's smart. That's a smart person. That is true. Somebody in here being dumb. Just gonna go and flash them out. Guys, that's my time, man. This is the day the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. I love y'all, man. I hope y'all do good job at your work spots today. And you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all just be good, man. Just be blessed. We'll be live again tomorrow morning. We talking about affordability. Venezuela, we talking about all this different kind of stuff, but we haven't started talking about affordability again, and we need to get on that. You know what I'm saying? President Trump, he was going to unveil that healthcare plan, but something happened, and now we back on Venezuela and all this other stuff. But You know what I'm saying? Like the price of goods and groceries and all that has not gotten any cheaper. So we're going to address that tomorrow. Affordability, y'all. That's my time. I love y'all. I'll see y'all next time. Big Ghostwriter, y'all. I'm out.